residents and some of the garrison ninjas also stopped and looked at Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Hatake Kakashi and Nohara Rin were all shocked, and the mysterious Uchiha Obito has complicated eyes. He knows what it is. Saw it every day until he returned to Konoha. In front of the Hokage building. This is Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Kaharu Udatane murmured, looking away. She hadn't seen Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path before, but the cold light brought Uchiha Obito back a few days ago later. Uchiha Obito said something about Uchiha Madara and Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Not only she knows, but Namikaze Minato, Homura Mitokado, Inuzuka Giyu and others also know. Luhan clenched the sword of astonishment and narrowed his eyes slightly. With his eyesight, although Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, was far away, he could see very clearly. Uchiha Madara's breath was almost the same as Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Of the outer path coincides, right there. Insight maps show that the great Yuhi, named Uchiha Madara, is indeed in the same location as Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Cold. Call. Tsunade flickered beside Luhan. Her expression was a little anxious, but her eyes were firm. She wanted to fight side by side with Luhan. I will win. I will kill him. Trust me. Luhan turned his head and said quickly, Myanmar and Amon will protect you, don't come here. Tsunade is Luhan's weakness. In fact, she participated in the battle, although she could some effects, but the negative effects are greater. Once she is held hostage by Uchiha Madara, there will be disastrous consequences. At Luhan's call, the faceless man and the savage shield soldier moved behind Tsunade. Shadow Clone, who had been fighting against Onoki before, also returned to Luhan's side. The moment he made contact with Luhan, he turned into the white smoke disappeared. Shadow Clone will take away a lot of chakra from the main body, but if the caster takes the initiative to disperse the clone, he can absorb the chakra back. Chakra is the transformation of mental energy from physical energy, and Luhan can also use mental energy to convert chakra into physical energy again. This is the lowest loss. I'm going, be careful. Luhan explained and disappeared. At the same time, a figure appeared above Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, in the distance. Uchiha Madara with a wrinkled face and finally old age, white hair flying but full of breath, holding a sickle, carrying Gunbai Uchiwa on his back, and wearing a ninja costume officially appeared. After he appeared, the terrifying aura quickly converged and restrained in his body. The unprovoked release of a powerful breath has no other effect than oppressing the enemy. Naturally, Uchiha Madara's breath cannot put pressure on Luhan, so he took it back, otherwise it would be a waste of chakra. Who is that? Looks like 100 years old. Who is it? Doubts. Uchiha Madara's appearance is shocking, directly causing an earthquake. But no one knows him at all. That's. Uchiha Fugaku stared. He saw Uchiha Madara's Sharingan, and the Gunbai Uchiwa he was wearing behind his back. Gunbai Uchiwa is also found in the Uchiha clan, but it is a replica and fake. The real Gunbai Uchiwa was held by Uchiha Madara, the head of the Uchiha clan more than 40 years ago, and after the final battle between Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, Gunbai Uchiwa disappeared. He is, Uchiha Fugaku guessed. After all, it is no secret that Uchiha Madara is still alive. He is Uchiha Madara, Tsunade said suddenly and sharply, making all suspicious voices abruptly stopped. It is him who secretly provoked all parties in the ninja world and caused many wars. Near the garrison station, on the watchtower, Luhan appeared out of thin air, stepped on the top of the tower with one foot, and stared at Uchiha Madara who was standing above Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, no more than 100 meters away from him. It's really lively. Uchiha Madara grinned at Luhan with a hoarse and playful voice. Isn't this what you want? Lu Leng sneered. Destroy this place. Destroy the Konoha village you built with Senju Hashirama. Is this your ideal? This place has changed. Uchiha Madara glanced at the vast Konoha village. The buildings, the streets, become unfamiliar to me. This place is not the same Konoha it used to be, full of lies, hypocrisy, and sin. You always have your reasons. Lu Han mocked. He didn't do it right away because he was waiting. If there was a fight here, Onoki would be very troublesome. He hoped that Onoki would come to help Uchiha Madara, although he would become very dangerous himself. You are not my opponent. Lu Han raised his brows. Do you think so? Uchiha Madara tilted her head and suddenly spread her arms. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, threw 3 tubes out of his back, wriggled like a snake, rushed up, and slammed into Uchiha Madara's back. Chapter 1048 Madara's weakness. Those 3 pipes pierced into Uchiha Madara's spine, the Jinchuriki column, and were completely connected to Uchiha Madara. At this moment, Uchiha Madara's breath has changed, becoming more calm, with an unfathomable sense of depth, and the Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, under his feet also radiates life at this moment. The breath, this breath, very much like Uchiha Madara. It's like 147th year of Konoha's Uchiha Madara mentioned in the original work. There were always several pipes connected behind him, which were connected to Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and Uchiha Madara was in this way to maintain its own vitality. And in this world, Lu Han saw Uchiha Madara for the first time. It was 32 years of Konoha, and until now, 15 years have passed. This should be the first time that Uchiha Madara has let his body, outer path connected. Uchiha Madara of this world is obviously different from the original. Because Lu Han has been in this world for too long, it has produced an incomparably huge butterfly effect, which directly affected Uchiha Madara, and even, 10 years ago, Tsunade had severely damaged Uchiha Madara. So many differences. And now, at last, there is something in common. You put your vitality entirely on Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, in exchange for stronger vitality and greater control over Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Lu Han said slowly, squinting his eyes guessing. So, as long as I cut off your connection to Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, now, you will die, right? That's right. Uchiha Madara was extremely calm, not worried at all because Lu Han discovered his weakness. His spirit was actually improving, and his spirit and energy had reached a new height. As of now, I don't need to hide it from you, because since you guessed it, you will definitely try to cut it off. Uchiha Madara grinned. That's right at all, cut off the connection and I'll die. I have the ability. Come though. As soon as Uchiha Madara finished speaking, his hands were as fast as lightning. He hung the sickle around his waist, and then he folded his hands together, maintaining the gesture of hand seal. The terrifying aura erupted in an all-round way. Uchiha Madara danced wildly with white hair, eyes sharp as electricity. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, also opened 9 eyes at this moment, and some kind of crazy color flashed in the bloody Yuhi-colored eyes. It moved. The huge hands stretched out violently, supported the ground, leaned forward, put on a very oppressive posture, opened his mouth and let out a roar. Howl _. The terrifying sound wave brought a violent wind and swept the entire Konoha village in an instant. This is because although it can't cause any substantial damage, it is shocking. It's different. Completely different. Uchiha Madara and Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, who were like one, gave Lu Han an extremely dangerous feeling, but Lu Han was in sage mode. When Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, leaned forward and roared, Lu Han had already jumped back and opened up the distance. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, is too big, it moves a little bit, it is dozens or hundreds of meters. Distance, thousands of ninjas, many of them showing horror. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, is really terrible, although it has not shown any combat power or destruction, but it is only that the imposing manner, that incomparably huge body, will make people feel intimidated. Ha! Lu Han suddenly laughed, very coldly. It's just an empty shell, but you dare to show off your power. As soon as he finished speaking, Luhan threw more than 10 stars, all of which were Hiraishin Kunwu, and hit Geto Mazo directly. Demonic statue of the outer path, Uchiha Madara above his head. Luhan also disappeared out of thin air. Knife light up. Thunder flashed. Luhan appeared within 10 meters of Uchiha Madara along with Hiraishin Kunwu. Almost at the same time, more than 10 rays of lightning burst out from behind Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, not only successfully forcing Luhan back, but also shooting those still flying. All Hiraishin Kunai were destroyed. Kaden, fire style, great fire destruction. Uchiha Madara immediately released ninjutsu. The huge flame arrow flew 100 meters away, and Luhan avoided, but the large building complex behind him was stunned. The flames bombarded the ground, directly destroyed several houses, and the shock wave that erupted almost swept away half a block. Distance, on the edge of the battlefield in front of the Hokage building. Onoki and Chio looked at each other and moved at the same time. According to the agreement, once Uchiha Madara and Han Guang fight, they must support Uchiha Madara in order to kill Han Guang as soon as possible. Everyone understands that one-on-one, Han Guang is invincible. The former Uchiha Madara may be able to defeat the cold light, but the current Uchiha Madara is old and dying. In fact, both Onoki and Chio are unwilling to face the cold light directly, it is too dangerous. The two are not opponents of Hangguang when they are tied together, but if a Uchiha Madara is added, the scale of victory will naturally be tilted towards them. Onoki and Chio just disappeared. The battle in the distance has just been fought for a round. The thousands of ninjas on guard against each other. Behind Yagura, a figure suddenly appeared silently, with a black body, Black Zetsu. Go, Black Zetsu said quickly in Yagura's ear, and disappeared again. After a few seconds. Sweden, water style, bite by the waves. Among the crowd, more than 10 water dragons set off huge waves. Fight again. Black Zetsu appeared on the roof of the Hokage building, which had not collapsed, and quickly glanced at the battlefield. The corner of his mouth raised a strange arc, and disappeared again. He did not participate in the war, although his combat effectiveness is also very strong, especially the lethality of sneak attacks, very pervert. But he has more important things to deal with. The garrison camp, Luhan is trying again and again, trying to get close to Uchiha Madara and launch an attack, but it always backfires. Uchiha Madara's problem lies in his longevity and his weakened body. His consciousness is still very strong, so his reaction speed is by no means weak. Luhan. He was attacking, and so was Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Lightning, flames, chakra dragons, and chains blocked Luhan again and again. Doden, Earth style, Iwakiri Hiroshi. Onoki finally showed up, and threw out a jet black soil thorn with his hand. Pervert, who had a fast attack speed, and Luhan, who had just smashed ninjutsu with Uchiha, managed to dodge the blow very dangerously. Looking for death, Luhan stared, glanced at Onoki, turned into blue lightning and quickly approached Onoki. Puppet technique organization network trapped. Luhan just rushed to Onoki when the ground exploded. Chapter 1049 Sage Mode Susanoo. The ground burst, and countless rubble splashed into the sky. The 5 puppets that sneaked into the ground at some point, each wielding 2 metal whips more than 10 meters long with both arms, forming a dense attack network of 10 metals. Luhan's Thor armor was hit several times, but this level of attack was not enough to break the Guardian of Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode. However, Luhan's speed suddenly slowed down a lot. Onoki retires and completes the hand seal again. Doden Earth-style overweight rock shackles. Boom, boom. The ground on both sides of Luhan cracked, and 2 extremely thick rock chains sprang from the ground, twisting and smashing towards Luhan. Kaden fire style, dance of fire. On the other side, on the huge Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, Uchiha Madara also completed the hand seal, which blew a terrifying fire almost immediately after Onoki attacked. Hundreds of fire snakes with a diameter of more than 1 meter and a length of tens of meters are twisted and hit, densely packed, like the dark yuhi that the sky has been burned. This is definitely an S-level Kaiden, fire style, forbidden technique, which is not mentioned in the original book. There is such a ninjutsu in the arrogant fire department, but it does not mean that it does not exist. An entire block in the east of the garrison station was within the attack range of this ninjutsu. Lu Han dodged frantically. He is annoying. He is not afraid of anyone one-on-one, and fights ninjutsu with Uchiha Madara. Even if Uchiha Madara uses the power of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, Lu Han is in sage mode, and his ninjutsu is always in sage art. The category, the power is extraordinary. However, 1-on-2, 1-on-3, which made it difficult for Lu Han to keep up with their rhythm. He released one ninjutsu, but the other party had already released 3. Onoki and Chiyo are not ordinary people, they are all top ninjas. Existence, especially Onoki, he is stronger than the old Onoki whose fighting power is outstanding in the original book. This is the Hokage building. Thousands of ninjas went into full-scale battle again, and this time the battle was even more intense. The Hokage building was destroyed by the aftermath of ninjutsu in a very short time. However, before today's battle began, both sides talked about it for a long time. During that time inside, the important materials in the Hokage building have been transferred, and the coffin of Sarutobi Hiruzen has long been transported away by Anbu. The village of Konoha is being destroyed, and as the two battlefields expand, it won't be long before the entire Konoha is in ruins. Lu Han alone was besieged by Uchiha Madara, Onoki, and Chiyo. It can't be said how difficult the fight is. Although the 3 of them together can suppress him in a short time, it is under the premise that Lu Han is eager to kill. If Lu Han immediately stops and evacuates, no one can stop him. Uchiha Madara's mobility is very poor. Onoki and Chiyo couldn't keep up with him either. However, Lu Han didn't feel like walking. He's going to kill Uchiha Madara. He was attacking again and again, being counterattacked again and again, and being blocked again and again. Puppet technique Shingsha Storm. Doden Earth style, flying meteor art. Kaiden Fire style, burning technique. The puppet was releasing a hidden weapon, and the huge rock swirled, and the sea of fire was raging. Lu Han moved at super high speed and turned into blue lightning. While dodging the attack, he circled around the huge Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Several blocks around had been beaten to ruins. He wanted to go around Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path behind, find the right angle to attack Uchiha Madara. Chiyo appears on the shoulder of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, rushing to complete the hand seal. Spiritual. Bang bang bang. The dense white smoke exploded around Chiyo's body, and up to hundreds of puppets of different shapes appeared one after another. Chiyo waved his hands again, and his 10 fingers chakras stabbed hundreds of puppets again and again. Hundreds of puppets jumped down from Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and deployed around Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Lu Han wanted to get close to Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. They had to pass by them. They were besieging Lu Han, and as long as they were within a certain range from Lu Han, they would explode. Chiyo is also down the blood. These puppets are expensive to build, and their combat effectiveness is not weak. Using self-destruction is completely a loser, but except for the 10 people in Jinsong, Chiyo's other backup puppets have no chance of confronting Lu Han head-on. Rather than being killed in seconds, better to blow yourself up. Lu Han was already fed up. He was completely in a state of self-defense and lack of attack. Onoki was annoying and Chiyo was also annoying. Although the biggest threat was from Uchiha Madara, Lu Han was not afraid of him one-on-one. Don't force me. Lu Han's irritable mood has reached a critical value. He also has a useless big move, which can be regarded as a whole card. The reason why Lu Han doesn't use it is because he doesn't know what the consequences will be after using it. He is in sage mode. Whether in the original book or in this world, there is no such thing as people have used this trick in sage mode. So, what kind of changes will happen and what kind of consequences, it is still unknown. Contrary to what Onoki had guessed before, Luhan's Sage Mode can last for a long period of time instead of a few minutes. His Sage Mode is different, not from the 3 major cultivation sites, but obtained through exchange. Doten, Earth Style, Stone Dragon Art. Onoki appeared not far behind Luhan again. As he completed the hand seal, a super huge rock dragon sprang from the ground in front of him. I'm fucking Doten, Earth Style. Luhan couldn't take it anymore. He turned around suddenly, and folded his hands together. At this moment, the energy mantra of Yuhi color and the vast blue light erupted on him, and his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan eyes spun rapidly. Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, also has a giant power giant. Sage Mode Susanoo. This Susanoo may be more than 120 meters. The whole body is blue, but covered with some Yuhi-colored patterns. He holds a huge shield in the left and a huge sickle in the right. I still remember that in the original work, Uchiha Madara Sasuke used the power of Chongo to attach natural energy to his Susanoo, making Susanoo's attack with the nature of sage art, but Uchiha Sasuke himself cannot be immortalized. Natural energy is borrowed, completely different from Luhan's current Susanoo. Luhan's Susanoo is a real immortal Susanoo. Rumbling, _ The huge rock dragon bombarded the immortal Susanoo, unable to shake it, and it exploded into countless broken rocks. Chapter 1050_rolling. This is. Onoki's eyes widened, his face full of shock. It's not that he has never seen such a big Susanoo, even bigger than this. Uchiha Madara opened the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in the Sengoku era. His full-body Susanoo is bigger than this. However, the immortal Susanoo is completely different in the fluctuation of aura. It is the aura with Sage Mode. Onoki can't believe that Susanoo even has Sage Mode. You must know that the improvement of Sage Mode to Ninja is several times or even dozens of times. If it is placed on Susanoo. Chio's hundreds of puppets launched a suicide attack on the immortal Susanoo. They collided again and again and blew themselves up again and again. The highest blow was on the position of the immortal Susanoo's calf, and it was impossible to break the defense. Uchiha Madara stands at Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and needs to raise his head to see the full face of the immortal Susanoo. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, is not as tall as the immortal Susanoo in his kneeling position. As Luhan had expected, when Susanoo was cast in Sage Mode, it really produced uncontrollable changes. Susanoo became bigger and stronger only on one hand. On the other hand, it was Luhan's chakra consumption speed. It was more than 10 times faster. Luhan's Sage Art chakra is consuming like crazy. Although his chakra volume is comparable to that of a tailed beast, such a huge consumption is that his battle duration is greatly shortened. Sage Art's chakra volume is a combination of physical energy, spiritual energy, and natural energy, and among them, spiritual energy is used for extraction and transformation. Although it will be consumed, it will never be exhausted before the body's energy is exhausted. Natural energy is absorbed from the outside world, which can be said to be endless. The only problem is body energy. Luhan estimated that, with the current chakra consumption rate, he can hold on for 10 minutes at most, and his body energy will bottom out. If he doesn't quit Sage Mode and remove Susanoo, he will die of exhaustion. Although in the Sage Mode state, the body recovers very fast, and Luhan is a subversive, and his own recovery ability is very strong, but the immortal Susanoo, the consumption of chakra is really terrible. But then again, 10 minutes seems like enough. Damn it. The super huge fairy Susanoo moved, and the momentum of the top of the mountain rolled towards Onoki. The supergiant energy sickle with an overall length of more than 150 meters was swung up and bombarded. At this moment, the landslides. Konoha earthquake. It's like an earthquake again. Under the attack of the sickle, Onoki looked extremely small. He had already used all his escape skills, but the attack range of the immortal Susanoo was too large. If he moved, he could attack within a radius of 1 kilometer. Can't escape. 2 blocks were cut into ruins by the immortal Susanoo with a knife, and a dark crack appeared on the ground, I don't know how deep. Onoki's body flickered frequently, looking extremely embarrassed. Rumbling _ Another knife, although it didn't hit Onoki. After all, it is now attacking Onoki with such a huge sickle. It has the visual sense of a cannon hitting a mosquito, but it is not so accurate. However, the gust of wind brought by the huge sickle waving affects Onoki. Onoki, the most powerful, was blown away by the strong wind, and rolled along with the rubble that rolled like a wave. Many hit him at any time, tearing his clothes and ripping his skin. He was extremely embarrassed, and after rolling out 100 meters, he was covered in blood. There is absolutely no fighting back. The most terrifying thing about Susanoo is that it has both offense and defense. The huge energy body can attack and defend, so as long as Susanoo reaches a certain strength, it will become fearless and can ignore any attack. Luhan is ignoring any attack now. Although Susanoo is too big to be easily attacked, Sage Art Chakra, natural energy, makes Luhan's Susanoo not only not afraid of ordinary attacks, but some strange attacks on him. Don't be afraid. In the original work, Sasuke's Susanoo adds natural energy to form a Sage Art attack, but it can cause effective damage to Ten Tails Jinchuriki Column Force Uchiha Obito. This is an extraordinary energy. Luhan chased and killed Onoki again and again. Clearing mobs first and then fighting bosses is his current tactic. Otherwise, he will always be harassed by mobs when fighting bosses. Luhan is already tired of this. There is still something in Onoki that is worthy of Luhan's jealousy, that is Jinten particle style. One knife after another, huge ravines appeared on the ground. Onoki looked very small in it. He had already vomited blood. I don't know if it was because of the forbidden technique. Damn, Onoki was also a little crazy. Strange aura fluctuations appeared on him and surged up. Doton, earth style. Futon, wind style. Kaden, fire style. Blood is eliminated. Jinten, particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. Onoki flew into the air, and a huge translucent cone appeared between his hands, bombarding Luhan. Finally come. Luhan couldn't dodge at all, because Sage Art Susanoo's target was too large to move effectively and quickly. He waved a huge energy sickle and hit the translucent cone directly. Boom. Wow _ The huge energy sickle was directly blasted into powder stars and dissipated with the wind. But that's all. Onoki's split detachment of the primitive world technique only smashed Sage Art Susanoo's weapon, but did not hurt Luhan a hair at all, and the injury on Susanoo can be repaired through energy. That said, Onoki's single blow didn't have a really meaningful substantive effect. His face was embarrassed, and he retreated backwards while spurting blood. He thought that split detachment of the primitive world technique should be able to penetrate Susanoo and hurt Luhan inside, but it backfired. Huh, Luhan smiled, a little hideous. Sage Art Susanoo's sickle quickly grew out again. Onoki's condition was very bad. His speed was more than doubled than before. If Luhan attacked again, he might not be able to escape. Uchiha Madara, what are you waiting for? Onoki shouted hoarsely. Chapter 1051 The Death of Onoki. This may be the most thrilling moment of Onoki's life. Uchiha Madara on Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, looked extremely gloomy. Luhan's immortal Susanoo was unexpected. After all, there was no precedent, and no one could judge whether Susanoo could also be immortalized. A close call. Onoki's cry came into Uchiha Madara's ears, but Uchiha Madara didn't move. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, kept kneeling and crawling, just staring at the immortal Susanoo without moving. Boom, boom, boom. The huge energy knives bombarded one after another, and the landslides and the ground split. Onoki narrowly escaped the attack, but was affected by the aftermath and vomited blood again. Uchiha Madara, Onoki was so angry that Uchiha Madara ignored him. Boom, boom, boom. Uchiha Madara, You must die. Boom _ Wow _ On the battlefield filled with deep ravines, with Luhan's final blow, Onoki's frantic aura suddenly disappeared, golden light shone, and hundreds of falling objects shot into the sky. Onoki died. He died. Just die. Died under the violent attack of the immortal Susanoo, and died under the attack of Luhan, who was in the strongest state. The attack power of the immortal Susanoo must have broken the 70th level and entered the 80th level. Therefore, Onoki can't bear it. It is normal. On the ground full of ravines, Onoki's body could not be seen, because he was beaten with no bones left. If it weren't for the shining golden light, even Luhan would not be sure that he really killed him. All of them have extremely strong means of life-saving, and have extremely strong ability to hide. 70 bronze boss is not the first kill. So far, Luhan has killed 4 level 70 bronze bosses, the 3rd generation Kazekage, the 3rd generation Hokage, the 3rd generation Tsuchikage, and the demigod Hanzo. In fact, if Luhan can choose, he will definitely choose Sarutobi Hiruzen. Kill, but no if. Chiyo appeared on the ground ruins hundreds of meters away from Luhanzu, looking at the extremely huge Susanoo from a distance, and glanced at it. She is looking for Onoki. Just now, Luhan attacked Onoki madly and Chiyo was hiding. She wanted to observe some situations and wait for an opportunity to rescue Onoki. She also made a guess about the time when Luhan used Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. But I didn't expect it, it seems. It's over. Onoki's last piercing cry filled Chiyo's heart with unease and panic. The sound disappeared, the breath disappeared, and the battle was temporarily terminated. Is he dead? Uchiha Madara still had a gloomy face, standing on top of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, staring at Luhan. The supergiant Susanoo turned around, and Luhan also looked at Uchiha Madara. He had to admit that he underestimated Uchiha Madara, underestimated his cruelty, underestimated his lower limit, and did not know what agreement he reached with Onoki. It doesn't matter anymore, he tore up the agreement, treachery, and watched Onoki get killed. There is no doubt that Uchiha Madara has not considered who to ally with in the future, and he has lost the faith that even the villains should abide by. Of course, having said that, Luhan will not let him live through today. Perhaps, Uchiha Madara also took this battle as the last battle in this life. Just watch him die like this. Luhan said sarcastically, are you not ashamed? Uchiha Madara, after today, you will be the most contemptible despicable villain in the ninja world. You will stink eternal. In fact, if you don't considering the position, I admire Onoki a lot, and you will only make people scorn. Quote. Ha! Uchiha Madara with a gloomy face sneered, his wrinkled cheeks filled with incomprehensible arrogance. This world. There is no morality to speak of, full of filth, it's to save the world, so I don't do anything wrong. Onoki is useless. That's why he deserves to die. And he died well. Han Guang, you killed him, not me. Uchiha Madara's last words woke up Luhan. Everything has a purpose. Uchiha Madara will not kill a person for no reason, nor will he betray his trust for no reason. Onoki is really useless. He was injured to such a degree by Luhan, he has no strength in battle, and he can't then form an effective help to Uchiha Madara, and if Onoki escapes, likely to break the alliance. At the Hokage building, hundreds of ninjas from various forces will choose to give up the fight and leave because of Onoki's retreat. Under such circumstances, Uchiha Madara's situation will be very bad. So Uchiha Madara let Luhan kill Onoki. Only in this way, today's battle will continue. Han Guang, as the murderer who killed Onoki, will become the mortal enemy of Iwagakure village. Over the Hokage building, Onoki's son is also there. As long as he finds Onoki dead, will inevitably lead Iwagakure to the death battle with Konoha. To admit, Uchiha Madara's wisdom is very pervert. He figured out a lot of things in the time he was able to make a close call, so as to make the decision that was most beneficial to him. two battlefields are far apart. The ninjas on the Hokage building, apart from seeing the two giants, could not hear the conversation between Luhan and Uchiha Madara clearly, only Chiyo could be heard. Her face was pale, and it was certain that Onoki was already dead. Can we still fight this battle? Can Uchiha Madara still be trusted? Obviously not. Chiyo's figure suddenly disappeared in place, and the insight map showed that she was quickly rushing to the direction of the battlefield in the Hokage building. Chiyo must not be able to escape. At most, she will rush to another battlefield, although she is the strongest among the Sunagaku ninjas present. Yes, but not the master, who can decide whether to withdraw or continue fighting. It is the fourth generation Kazekage Rasa. Finally clean. Onoki died in battle, and Chiyo, who lost most of his cage-level puppets, retreated. On this battlefield, only Luhan and Uchiha Madara were left. No greeting, no warning, the supergiant immortal Susanoo moved. The mountain-like body was oppressed by the power of heaven, and the knife light tore the folds of the space. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, also sprang up at this moment, faster than Luhan imagined. Chapter 1052-Betray. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, is not as tall as the immortal Susanoo in his crouching posture, but after he jumped up, his huge body stood up. The sickle slashed in anger. On the Uchiha Madara hand seal on Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, a huge thunderbolt flashed out, hitting the scythe, knocking the scythe away. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, took advantage of the trend, and slammed with a dead wood-colored oversized fist. Boom! The huge fist slammed into the huge shield. Immortal Susanoo resisted the blow with the shield of the other hand, but took a step back. The ground under his feet cracked and a big hole was formed, and the whole Konoha was shocked. Hangwang, suffer. Uchiha Madara's mouth curled into a wicked smile. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, suddenly became crazy, and his huge fist slammed on the shield again and again, knocking the immortal Susanoo back step by step. Luhan tried to counterattack with a scythe, but it was always unsuccessful, as if he was locked. Every time Luhan swung the knife, a thunderbolt would strike and knock the knife away. No, Uchiha Madara can't be this strong. He is dying of old age. Even if he becomes one with Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, he can't have such strength. Luhan was completely suppressed and beaten. Something is wrong. Mention the current Uchiha Madara. Even the Uchiha Madara 10 years ago, should not have this kind of strength. Hangwang, I see how long you can hold on. Uchiha Madara shouted. He's crazy. Reason why Luhan thinks so is because Uchiha Madara's attack is fierce, but there is not much strategy in it. He is completely relying on the huge body and strength of Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, to attack, with few skills. This is like the last explosion of a powerful ninja before the lamp runs out. He's overdrawing his life. He still has life to overdraw. No, he's a Senju Hashirama's cells. He's burning Senju Hashirama's cells. Luhan understood. Moreover, he already felt a strong sense of death in Uchiha Madara. This guy has regarded this battle as the last battle of his life. He has not reserved, and may even use some kind of forbidden technique, in order to increase his strength in a short period of time, and the price of all this will be his life. Give it a go regardless of the consequences. It might only take a few minutes, and even if Uchiha Madara really defeated Luhan, he might die. Exhausted yourself. Oh, I'm courting death. Luhan began to give up the attack and turned to defend with all his strength. He had already seen through Uchiha Madara's state, so there was no need to take a big risk to confront Uchiha Madara head-on. As long as he resisted this wave of attacks, Uchiha Madara would be finished. Sage Susanoo, Ten-Tails body Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. The two behemoths moved and fought in Konoha village, and all the places they passed turned into ruins. There was no need for a complicated attack, because it was too big, and a random movement would cause a devastating blow to the surroundings. The battle between the two has entered the most intense white-hot stage. Luhan seems to be in danger, but in fact, the real danger is Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara is reckless. In just 5 minutes, 2 behemoths had already smashed a third of Konoha into ruins, and even the terrain had changed, with huge pits and hills appearing. The death energy in Uchiha Madara was already strong to a certain extent, and Luhan could even feel that his body function was declining. Hold on a little longer, maybe 1 more minute, and Uchiha Madara will die. Boom boom. Hundreds of terrifying thunderbolts emerged from the back of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, bombarding the immortal Susanoo intensively. Luhan retreated for half a kilometer before stopping. Of course, for the immortal Susanoo, half a kilometer, that is, a few steps away. Uchiha Madara stopped, panting violently and looking at Luhan. Isn't it okay? Luhan asked with cold eyes. Ha! Uchiha Madara showed a strange smile that made Luhan very uneasy. This smile contained something that Luhan couldn't understand. I admit, I can't beat you, I have tried my best. It's not your style to admit defeat. Luhan said sarcastically. I really lost this battle. Uchiha Madara said uncharacteristically, however, ha 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 ha. Crazy laugh. You can die. Luhan shouted angrily. Regardless of whether Uchiha Madara was playing tricks, the immortal Susanoo moved. Ha ha ha, you haven't started yet. What are you waiting for? Uchiha Madara shouted with a loud laugh. The sound of thunder resounded throughout the Konoha hidden village. Without any hesitation, Luhan slashed down with the ripping sound of the huge sickle. Boom underscore. Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, was blasted away. And at the same time, Hokage building on the battlefield. The 4 figures of Tsunade, Orochimaru, Faceless Man, Barbarian Shield Soldier are fighting with Yagura, and Chiyo who came later, plus many envoys, and the big moves are frequent, and the scene is extremely chaotic. Uchiha Madara's voice came. She was always behind Tsunade's side. Orochimaru, who was assisting Tsunade, changed his eyes and glanced at Tsunade's back with a strange look. A black metal rod slipped out of his sleeve, covered with dark shadows. Yuhi-colored curse print pattern. He immediately turned into an afterimage. Tsunade. Orochimaru called out Tsunade. What? Tsunade was a little distracted for a moment. Pucci. The black metal rod penetrated Tsunade's shoulder blades in an instant, pierced through his back, and stabbed out from under his collarbone. At this moment, Tsunade's body seemed to freeze, keeping his body leaning forward to fight forward, while Orochimaru's standing behind her, holding a black metal rod in his hand. There are curse marks all over his body. The ninjas around were stunned. Even Yagura and Chiyo subconsciously stopped their attacks and looked at the situation with a bewildered expression. Tsunade turned his head in disbelief, and out of the corner of his eye glanced at Orochimaru's pale, bloodless face. Sorry. Orochimaru's voice was hoarse and his eyes were complicated. At this moment, Tsunade's heart was twisted. She did not expect that she would be betrayed by her best brother and most loyal partner. Ah! Tsunade raised her head and screamed, her body chakra flowing frantically. She wanted to fight back, but couldn't raise her strength. The black metal rod that pierced her shoulders had sealed her. Chapter 1053_Blackened Orochimaru. Tsunade has a heart that will never be afraid and never admit defeat. Even if the knife is on her neck, she may fight back desperately. However, in the face of absolute power, only a moment of a strong heart is not enough. Orochimaru strikes first, and Tsunade never thought that Orochimaru would attack him, and with Orochimaru's understanding of Tsunade, if he doesn't strike, as long as he strikes, Tsunade will definitely not have a chance to counterattack. The shoulder blades quickly dyed Tsunade's clothes, and the pain deep into the bone stimulated Tsunade's nerves. Tsunade's breath was extremely violent, like a seal-tailed beast. He wanted to break free from the seal, but he did not. That weird black metal rod, with the dark Yuhi-colored curse pattern on the metal rod, had locked up Tsunade's body. Both the faceless man and the barbarian shield soldier stopped at this moment and stopped fighting completely. Looking at Orochimaru and Tsunade, Luhan gave the faceless man an order to protect Tsunade, and the faceless man himself has high intelligence. He can, judging from this situation, if Orochimaru is shot, there is a 99% probability that Tsunade will be killed. So he didn't move. Master Orochimaru. Master Tsunade. What are you doing? It turned out. With Tsunade's screams, there was a screeching noise around, and many people's eyes widened in disbelief. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? Konoha Sanin, who once lived and died together, will betray. Orochimaru. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Jiraiya's screams came from afar, and a strong man of his strength naturally listened to all directions, and he saw it. Orochimaru. Damn it, Orochimaru. The desperate fight between the two sides on the battlefield was temporarily terminated due to Orochimaru's sneak attack on Tsunade, and Konoha was at war. This is an opportunity for the embassies of various countries, but they are so shocked. Even the enemy cannot understand Orochimaru's betrayal. Call. Jiraiya flashed near Orochimaru, followed by another golden flash, and stopped closer to Orochimaru. Namikaze Minato, Inuzuka Gu, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado and others were also rushing frantically. They have all figured out what Orochimaru is going to do. Tsunade was originally foolproof. Kangwang's two puppets protected Tsunade, plus the more powerful Orochimaru. I'm afraid that it would be Tsunade's turn to die if everyone else died first. Unexpectedly. Tsunade is really important. She is Hongguang's wife. She was attacked, she was injured, and she was held hostage, which directly affected the battle between Hongguang and Uchiha Madara. Orochimaru, you let her go. Orochimaru, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Yelling, around Orochimaru and Tsunade, a group of Konoha's master ninjas rushed over, but no one dared to act rashly. Jiraiya's face was painful, he was very excited. Orochimaru, don't do this, I will never forgive you for doing this. Hey, Orochimaru sneered, still holding the back end of the metal rod in his hand. He continued to inject chakra. The sealing effect continued to strengthen. Tsunade was able to turn back at first, but now she is almost unable to move. Don't say to resist, she couldn't even think of suicide. Orochimaru didn't explain anything, just sneered, glanced around, and then held Tsunade hostage, turned into a shadow, flickered around the crowd, and quickly approached another battlefield. The huge Geto-Mazo demonic statue of the outer path was blasted out by Luhan. Uchiha Madara was still standing on the top of Geto-Mazo demonic statue of the outer path, and the pipe protruding from Geto-Mazo demonic statue of the outer path, attached to his back ridge. The Jinchuriki column, Geto-Mazo demonic statue of the outer path, is rolling. Uchiha Madara keeps his hands together, and he is not thrown out. Immortal Susanoo jumped up again, and his bow body quickly approached. Ah! Tsunade's heart-wrenching cry came from afar. As if he was hit by something, Luhan stopped abruptly and turned his head to look in the direction of the battlefield in the Hokage building. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Uchiha Madara's wild laughter rang out again. Geto-Mazo demonic statue of the outer path slowly climbed up. Uchiha Madara looked at Luhan with a cheerful look, cold light. You can't think of it, right? You didn't think about it. Ha 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 ha, you can't think of it. Ha ha ha. Tsunade. Someone's got a shot at Tsunade. How can it be? Who has such power? Who is it? Immortal Susanoo shook violently and collapsed into bits of energy that dissipated with the wind. Luhan, who had released Susanoo's state, disappeared out of thin air. East Central Konoha Village, on a ruined street. Luhan appeared out of thin air, looking ahead, his face was gloomy and terrifying. Orochimaru, turned out to be Orochimaru. Luhan knew that there was a problem with Orochimaru, because since Luhan killed Sarutobi Hiruzen and saw Orochimaru again, the identity information on the top of Orochimaru's head was abnormal. It was not the orange name, nor the name of Yuhi, but the orange Yuhi flashed alternately. Always the same. Same goes for today. In this regard, Luhan is not unprepared, but what he is guarding against is that Orochimaru may attack him. He never thought that Orochimaru would be so mad and attack Tsunade. Orochimaru is so crazy. Completely blackened. Orochimaru is the type of person who tends to go to extremes easily. Orochimaru, who was holding Tsunade, stopped, flipped his wrist, and placed Kuwu, which reflected Fenghan, on Tsunade's neck, tilted his head at Luhan again, and said hoarsely, "Be careful." Orochimaru turned into a shadow while holding Tsunade hostage. Luhan follows him like a shadow. He's not like everyone else. No doubt, no anger, no need to say anything. Orochimaru has come this far. He's done it. He won't look back. The key now is how to save Tsunade. To be honest, Luhan was a little fortunate, because Uchiha Madara's last blow came from Orochimaru, and Tsunade was held hostage by Orochimaru, which was much safer than being held hostage by others. Orochimaru moved with Tsunade and stopped near Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Luhan appeared right after, keeping a proper distance from Orochimaru and Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. "Hangwang, give me the mystery of life and death," Uchiha Madara said loudly. Chapter 1054_Let Go. Uchiha Madara's ultimate goal has always been to obtain the mystery of life and death. He first tried to defeat Luhan as much as possible, and wanted to obtain the mystery of life and death through positive means, but he couldn't, so he had to use Orochimaru's whole card. In fact, Uchiha Madara doesn't trust Orochimaru. It didn't take long for him to let Black Zetsu reach an agreement with Orochimaru. Orochimaru's temperament is unpredictable, but things have come to this point, he has to use it. Orochimaru did not disappoint him. The death of Sarutobi Hiruzen and the extreme thirst for the mystery of life and death made Orochimaru a complete betrayal. The ruined battlefield, the supergiant Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, stands proudly, like a god and a demon. Uchiha Madara, standing above Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, with an old and pale face, is now lying in a coffin with his eyes closed and acting as a dead man without even makeup, a real walking dead. Orochimaru was holding this Tsunade not far from Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. The black metal rod had already exerted its maximum effect. Tsunade could not move or speak at all, only his eyes could barely turn. On the battlefield beyond the Hokage building, the battle started again. However, some powerful ninjas who can be called strong men, but they all temporarily left the battle, all came to Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and Orochimaru held Tsunade to threaten Hangwang, which would have a more extreme impact on the battle situation. They want to understand the situation here. Some ninjas, such as Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato, have even begun to think of ways to get Tsunade back. 10 years ago, due to Tsunade's accidental death, Hangwang's sudden fall caused an uproar in the ninja world, and directly led to a new wave of the Second Ninja War that was about to end. We'll lose that protracted war. Nobody wants this to happen again. Around Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, silhouettes appeared out of thin air. Chiyo, Rasa, Yagura, Namikaze Minato, Jiraiya, Inuzuka. The primary combat power of both sides was driven by a large number of shadow ninjas and super elite jonin. When they arrived at the scene, they were standing very far away from each other, and they were clearly separated. Luhan's face was expressionless, his eyes flashed incomprehensible colors. His eyes swept across Uchiha Madara's face, and then looked at Tsunade and Orochimaru. It is Uchiha Madara who wants the mystery of life and death. It is Orochimaru who is holding Tsunade hostage. Luhan could sense that Orochimaru was also taking precautions against Uchiha Madara, but he didn't know what agreement they had reached. Silence. The wind was whistling, and the dust was swept across the ground. Everyone looked at Luhan. Uchiha Madara, you can always surprise me. Luhan finally spoke, his voice flat. Isn't it scary? Uchiha Madara teased. Ha! Luhan grinned and took a deep breath. I know that my resurrection from the dead has caused you to covet the secrets of life and death in me, and I also admit that I do have what you need in me. The profound meaning of life and death. Let's call it the profound meaning of life and death. However, what suits me is not suitable for anyone but me. So what? Uchiha Madara clenched his fists subconsciously. He was afraid that what Luhan said was true. In that case, no matter how many people he killed, no matter how many things he did, no matter how much he planned, he would not be able to revolving heaven. Today's battle he has already cut off his own way of retreat, and the reason why he is still alive now is that there is only one breath left. So, I can't give you my profound meaning of life and death. Luhan's speech speed suddenly accelerated. However, I have another secret technique of life and death. This is a forbidden technique that anyone can practice, although it requires effort. Some price, but it can really give people eternal life. Give it to me! Give it to me! Uchiha Madara screamed. Of his wrist, Luhan took out a dark yuhi-colored scroll from his space backpack. There is indeed an immortal forbidden technique in this scroll that can be called the mystery of life and death. This was written by Luhan long ago, and he intends to hand it over to Orochimaru in the future. He made an agreement with Orochimaru that Orochimaru will serve him for 3 years, and he will send this spell out. The technique that was supposed to be given out, but because of today's various changes, I finally had to take it out in advance. For whom? Luhan shook the scroll in his hand and asked. To Uchiha Madara. To Orochimaru. Not only Uchiha Madara and Orochimaru are very jealous of this, but even the other strong ninjas who rushed around showed strange emotions. This is the ultimate meaning of life and death that can make people immortal. It's an attraction for anyone. Hangwang, do you want to provoke us? Uchiha Madara grinned. We already agreed, just give it to me. Bring it. Tsunade's Orochimaru, the kidnapper, looked indifferent, and it seemed that he really had already agreed. Shadow, Luhan shouted in a low voice. Call. Meow. The fluffy shadow cat appeared out of thin air on Luhan's shoulder. Give it to him. Luhan gestured. Meow. The shadow cat bit the scroll and disappeared out of thin air. The next moment, the shadow cat flashed past Uchiha Madara, and at that moment, the scroll fell into Uchiha Madara's hands. All eyes turned to Uchiha Madara again. Uchiha Madara behaved very cautiously. He was afraid of death now, and he cherished his life. He carefully inspected the scroll and confirmed that it was really just an ordinary scroll before slowly unfolding the scroll. Silence again. Uchiha Madara watched it earnestly for a few minutes. The expression on his face kept changing, from surprise to excitement, sometimes excited, sometimes frowning, and finally muttered to himself, no corpse reincarnated. Immortality technique that should have been created by Orochimaru in the original book. In fact, the negative effects of this technique are very large, but compared with being able to live forever, those disadvantages are nothing. Very good, very good. Uchiha Madara's face glowed and her eyes lit up. This technique has disappointed him, that is, the drawbacks, which are different from what he thought before, but there is also something that makes him more satisfied, that is, after changing the body, his lifespan has not only been extended, but he has also become more young. This is simply rejuvenation. Let him go, Luhan said indifferently. His voice was neither high nor low, but everyone could hear it clearly. Chapter 1055-Cold Wind in Winter. Uchiha Madara rolled up the scroll, put it in his arms, and looked up at Luhan. Hangwang, I didn't expect you to be so straightforward. It seems that Tsunade is really the most important bond in life. Uchiha Madara smiled playfully. We will meet again, and then we will decide the outcome. Although Uchiha Madara did not directly say that the meaning of life and death is true, his attitude has already shown everything. That's true. Orochimaru of Tsunade, the captor, blinked and glanced up at Uchiha Madara. Sorry, Orochimaru said quickly in Tsunade's ear, and then slapped Tsunade on the back shoulder, knocking Tsunade out of the sky, and his entire body also turned into an afterimage. Insight maps show that Orochimaru is leaving Konoha village at super speed. Luhan didn't chase him, but swayed his body and hugged Tsunade, who had been knocked away in an instant, 100 meters away, and then slapped the black metal stick with the dark Yuhi spell pattern without hesitation. The black metal rod was blown away, and Tsunade had an extra hole in his shoulder blade, blood spurting out. Meanwhile, the Uchiha Madara hand seal on Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. The earth began to shake violently, as if it had been shaken. The terrifying air current wrapped Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and Uchiha Madara above it. After 2 breaths, Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and Uchiha Madara disappeared at the same time. As if a mountain was removed out of thin air, the ruined battlefield suddenly became extremely empty. Luhan didn't care where Uchiha Madara ran to and how fast he ran. He looked at Tsunade. Cough cough cough. Tsunade coughed violently as soon as the seal was lifted. Luhan carefully supported her. Cough, cough, cold, eye. Heal first. Tsunade reluctantly raised his arms, his hands clasped together, and the yin seal on his forehead burst into a powerful aura. Forbidden technique yin seal creative regeneration. Tsunade didn't move, and the wounds on her body recovered quickly. The wound healing was visible to the naked eye. In just a few breaths, Tsunade completely recovered. Her strength is very powerful. In the entire ninja world, she is also a top-notch existence. If Orochimaru hadn't attacked her, she wouldn't have been hurt so badly. The faces of Chiyo and others became very ugly, because Uchiha Madara was gone, Onoki had died, and Uchiha Madara fled again. The combined ninja force of sand, rock, mist, Taki and other forces had lost the possibility of defeating Konoha. And that invincible cold light could kill them all. No one knows where the limit of Han Guang's combat power is. And they can all feel that the cold light is like a volcano, a repressed active volcano, and the calm cold light is even more terrifying, and he may erupt at any time. Han, I'm dragging you down. Tsunade recovered from his injury and lowered his head. You didn't, it's all Orochimaru's fault. Luhan stroked Tsunade's hair. Tsunade was silent. She will no longer defend Orochimaru. Before Luhan killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, she was very worried that Orochimaru would conflict with Luhan, and worried that Orochimaru would die. Now she doesn't worry anymore. Her heart is cold. Orochimaru should be damned. This is what he asked for of. All Sunagakur ninjas, withdraw, get out of here. Iwagakure, withdraw. Kurigakure, go. The chanting sounded one after another, and each sound resounded through the entire Konoha under the influence of chakra. Chiyo, Rasa, Yagura, Lois, etc., all scattered and rushed out of the Konoha village like crazy. They never thought before that Luhan would hand over the mystery of life and death so easily, and let Orochimaru and Uchiha Madara so easily without fighting. Orochimaru and Uchiha Madara ran away, and it is they who will suffer. On the battlefield in the Hokage building, all ninjas from all countries and forces were ordered to flee. Tsunade, how are you? Master Tsunade. Both Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato appeared next to Tsunade and Luhan. Jiraiya was very worried about Tsunade's condition. It was not a physical injury, but a trauma in her heart. The feelings of Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru were incomprehensible to outsiders. The real relatives are also relatives. Because of this, Jiraiya is even more worried about how Tsunade's heart will be torn apart. Take care of her. Luhan put his hand on Tsunade's shoulder, glanced at Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato, then looked around, looking at the figures around him who were running away frantically. Shadow. Luhan called out. Meow. Shadow Cat appeared on his shoulder. Luhan took out the Hiraishin Kunai, let the Shadow Cat hold it, and then disappeared with the Shadow Cat in a flash. In the northwest of Konoha village, a strong man named Gualadi, in Takian village, who is nearly 50 years old, is moving at high speed against the ground. He is a level 60 bronze boss. Gwalidi's strength is also top-notch in the entire Takian village. This time, he came to Konoha village to carry out the mission. Because the plan was perfect, he thought there would be no big problems, but all kinds of variables shocked his jaw, and now, he has smelled the breath of death. Can only run, crazy run. Sudden. Woo! A purple shadow flashed over his head. It was the shadow cat who appeared above his head with Horaishin in his mouth, and just a moment later, a terrifying knife light enveloped Gwalidi. Launch the instant forbidden technique. Pucci _ The knife light tore Gwalidi into 2 pieces, and the blood spurted wildly, but he still did not escape, because the moment he sensed the danger, he was already dead, and the instant forbidden technique required an investigation. Carrot's running process, although the time is definitely negligible, but he is still dead. The falling object flew up with the golden light, turned into a streamer, and got into the figure that appeared with the knife light. Luhan glanced at the corpse indifferently, his face like a cold wind in the cold winter. To the east of Konoha village, the cage-level powerhouse of Iwagakure village, named Mungjong, had a heavy expression on his face. He hunched his waist and moved forward very fast, because his speed was so fast that he seemed to have turned into a wind. Meow! A purple figure with Horaishin in his mouth flashed above her head. Kai! The knife light strikes, and the space seems to be torn apart. Mengzong's eyes frightened to ultimate at this moment. Chapter 1056_Ninja Catastrophe. He couldn't escape. In the previous battle, Mengzong had been injured and consumed a lot of chakra. He had been targeted by Namikaze Minato many times. If Master hadn't defended against forbidden technique, he would have died in the hands of Namikaze Minato. Doden Earth Style Art of Flower Rock. Mengzong triggered the special curse mark on his body, and his body shrank suddenly. At this moment, the cuticle of rock texture covered his whole body, and the curse mark pattern in the form of a turtle shell appeared on his back. Because Mengzong's body shape had changed, Luhan couldn't decapitate him with this knife. He used all his strength to use the knife. The speed of the knife was too fast, but he couldn't change his moves in an instant. Boom _ Luhan, who appeared, slashed Mungjong's back with a knife, and the terrifying impact was transmitted to the ground through Mungjong's body. Mungjong was like a meteorite that slammed into the ground, blasting the ground out. Very huge pit. Luhan was a little surprised that he didn't kill Mengzong with a single knife. The tortoise-shell defensive curse mark and rock horns behind the alliance weight successfully resisted Luhan's attack. However, Mengzong couldn't move anymore, he was lying in a huge pit. He just wasn't hacked to death directly, his body surface wasn't broken, but his internal injuries were extremely serious, his 5 internal organs were displaced and his life was dying. Cadent Fire Style Majestic Destroyer Flame Great Fire Annihilation. Luhan blew a huge fireball into the pit. After 10 seconds. Elsewhere in Konoha village, 2 Sunagakure shadow ninjas walked together, hurried over the ruins of the building and rushed into the forest. The little purple guy flashed over their heads, and Luhan appeared behind them. Across the board. It's a killing season. Luhan is killing people, starting from the shadow ninja, killing the super elite Jonin after killing the shadow ninja, killing the elite Jonin. He bypassed the top-level existences such as Chio and Yagura, because killing them is more troublesome and cannot be killed in a short time. The dogfight is also a waste of time. Instead of wasting time on them, it is better to kill some ninjas who are weaker than them but easy to kill. This will hit the major forces even harder. Killing a Chio will make more ninjas run away. This is not worth it. Moreover, the accumulated drop rewards for doing so are also more generous. This day will definitely be a day in the history books. Because on this day, a generation of legendary ninjas was known as the Cold Light of the God of Death, and slaughtered a large number of core powerhouses of Sunagakure, Kurigakure, Iwagakure, and Taki ninja. There are famous and well-known names in the ninja world, and more than 100 people died in the hands of Cold Light. And those lesser-known powerhouses died more, among which the 3 major ninja villages suffered the most, because there were many powerhouses who came to Konoha to participate in the action, so they died a lot. To say that the biggest loss is naturally the village of Iwagakure. The death of Tsuchikage, the third generation of Is, has directly changed the pattern of the ninja world. The evaluation of later generations, what Han Guang did today, made the ninja civilization of the ninja world go backward for 10 years, because a large number of powerful people from the three major forces died in battle, resulting in the loss of some unique forbidden secret techniques. Those Master's unique secret techniques forbidden technique the ninja, has no chance to pass on his skills. It's like civilization has been divided. Futon, wind style, Sweden, water style, Doden, earth style, ninjutsu has lost many developers and instructors in the inheritance. Although the fault is not irreparable, it will take a long time. This is the catastrophe of the ninja world. In a way, this is a more terrifying catastrophe than the ninja war. The third ninja war that has lasted for several years. Although tens of thousands of ninjas have died, most of them are low-level ninjas. Shadow Ninja and Super Elite Jonin really don't kill as many as Lu Han in one day. This time, in cooperation with Uchiha, nearly 600 ninjas came to Konoha village to participate in the operation, but they finally escaped here alive, less than 100 people, and all of them were injured. The nearly 500 ninjas who died in Konoha, only less than 100 died in the previous melee, and the remaining 400 people died at the hands of Lu Han. If they are united, Lu Han is not necessarily their opponent. No matter how strong the immortal Susanoo is, he will not be able to withstand the overwhelming blow of S-rank A-rank ninjutsu. However, this assumption cannot be established. Because the consequences of their joint fight against Lu Han, not only against Lu Han alone, but against the siege of thousands of ninjas in Konoha village. So they all died, on the way to escape. The existence of Shadow Cat greatly improved Lu Han's chasing efficiency. No matter how scattered they ran, they couldn't be faster than Shadow Cat. The sun was scorching hot, the sun was just westward, and it was the hottest time of the day. The ruined Konoha is devastated. Thousands of ninjas in the Konoha village have dispersed. In addition to the necessary defensive forces, the rest of the Konoha ninjas have begun to clean up the ruins in an orderly manner and treat the wounded. Some Konoha ninjas even left Konoha and went to support tens of thousands of people who had previously left the village of Konoha because of the fighting. Tsunade, Jiraiya, Namikaze Minato, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Inuzuka Soku, Hyuga Bonin and other ninjas all gathered in the small square near the east gate of Konoha village, surrounded by hundreds of ninja guards. Many ninjas looked at Tsunade with inexplicable complexities. They once hated Tsunade because Tsunade's husband killed Hokage III, and they even had plans to kidnap Tsunade, but now, if Tsunade hadn't stepped forward and used himself to coerce his husband Han Guang to take action, Konoha might have been destroyed in today's battle. Actually Tsunade could have stayed out of it, but she didn't. Woo meow. The little fluffy purple thing popped up on Tsunade's head, wagging its tail, and its cry was muffled because of the Hiraishin kunai. Everyone was shocked. Cold light is back. Sure enough, the cold light appeared in the open space 3 meters in front of Tsunade and the others, and the rich bloody smell spread out, and Lu Han was covered in blood. Forbearance. Lu Han hand seal, the water quickly circled around him, and then white smoke rose. Lu Han even changed his clothes, and his whole body was extremely clean. Cold. Tsunade hesitated. Let's go. Lu Han stepped forward to grab Tsunade's hand and was about to leave. Wait a minute, Lord Hengguang. Kaharu Udatane yelled hastily. Chapter 1057_appointed. Huh. Lu Han turned to look at Kaharu Udatane and frowned. What? We discussed it just now, and also talked with Tsunade. Kaharu Udatane continued. Lord Hengguang, we feel that Tsunade is the next generation of Hokage in Konoha village. Yan and Minato have no opinion. Lu Han's plan worked. At the beginning, he designed Tsunade to take the lead, and then he took action in order to establish a new, higher and stronger prestige for Tsunade. On the one hand, It was to pave the way for Tsunade to succeed Hokage in the future. But also to save some trouble. After all, Luhan killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Tsunade was going to be involved. The plan was very successful, even a little too successful. Have Tsunade now as Hokage. If it was as Luhan thought before, it's not impossible, but it's different now, because Uchiha Madara is not dead. In this case, let Tsunade serve as Hokage. She is in the bright place, which is very disadvantageous to Luhan. You agreed? Luhan asked Tsunade, looking at him. Tsunade shook his head. Tsunade said, I need to ask for your opinion. Kaharu Udatane said quickly, Lord Hengwang, you also know that in the current situation in Konoha village, there must be people who are strong enough and wise enough to take up the responsibility of Hokage, Jiraiya. He is too lazy, Minato. He is still young, so Tsunade is expected to be the Hokage, so you see. Kaharu Udatane's abacus is crackling. In fact, in terms of strength and ability, the most suitable person for Hokage is Hongguang, but after all, Hongguang killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. He will definitely be opposed by some people when he ascends the position, and it will be troublesome at that time, and Hongguang is not necessarily willing when this Hokage. Tsunade is different, she has strength, she has brains, she is the last wisdom among Sannin, and more importantly, she is Hongguang's wife. Once Tsunade becomes Hokage, it is equivalent to tying Hengwang to the boat of Konoha village. Although Hengwang is no longer a Konoha ninja, the outside world will definitely regard him as the patron saint of Konoha, and even Hengwang's son will return to Konoha. His family is in Konoha, and he and Konoha cannot be separated. If Tsunade is going to take the top position now, there will be no resistance in Konoha village, and it will save a lot of trouble. No way, Luhan asserted without thinking too much. Tsunade will not be the Hokage of Konoha village. Lord Kaharu, you don't need to say any more. Tsunade has dedicated the first half of her life to Konoha, she is tired. I mean it's decided. This, Kaharu Udatane didn't expect Luhan to object so firmly. I know that Konoha is in vain, the ninja village needs to be rebuilt, and there is still war with the outside world, but I believe you can handle it well. Luhan stopped Tsunade to go, only to take 2 steps and then stop, turning back. Your 4th generation Hokage should be Namikaze Minato, he is very suitable. After saying that, Luhan walked out of the crowd with Tsunade and disappeared out of thin air. Konoha in the historical record. On March 23, the legendary ninja generation killed the god Hengwang. After the war, the 3rd generation Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen's disciple, Namikaze Minato, was appointed as the 4th generation Hokage of Konoha village. In fact, Luhan just suggested that the word, imperial, is very inappropriate, and Konoha had already decided that it was Namikaze Minato, but after discussion with Kaharu Udatane and others, they decided to make a big flag. Namikaze Minato's superiors are shaped as Hengwang's arrangement. This is nothing more than to connect Konoha and Hengwang closely. After this day and this battle, the invincible Hengwang can stun everyone just by name. 3 days later. The situation of the Battle of Konoha village has spread throughout the entire ninja world like the wind. The entire ninja world, whether it is the ninja world or the mortal world, is in an uproar. Uchiha Madara, who has been dormant for decades, appeared in public. Onoki was killed by the cold light and besieged Konoha. The forces of all parties suffered heavy losses, and the elite powerhouses who went there were almost completely lost. The information is very complicated, and almost every piece of information can cause uproar in the ninja world. The pattern of the ninja world has changed because of this battle. This 3rd Ninja World War will be more tragic, or will it end in haste, with all parties holding their tails and licking the wounds? Everything is unknown. However, there is one thing that can be completely confirmed, and that is Hengwang is invincible in this world. He is a killer. Kumogakure Village, Lone Peak Mansion. Hidden in the courtyard in the forest. Uchiha Makoto had just returned from grocery shopping and was about to cook with Hyuga Luo Ning. Uzumaki Kushina was holding the shadow cat and was supervising Ali's fist and foot practice. In fact, he was eavesdropping on the conversation between Luhan and Xiao Ai. Luhan and Tsunade came back a day ago. At this time, he and Xiao Ai were sitting at the stone table under the shade of a tree and had already talked for a while. If it's very troublesome, I can take someone away first. I don't want to make it difficult for you, and there is no need for us to be separated. Luhan said lightly, frowning slightly, as if he had something on his mind. No, teacher, what are you talking about? Don't worry, the wife and sister are here, there will be no problem with their safety, and no one will gossip, you can rest assured. Xiao Ai said with a careful smile, for this teacher, he is more and more in awe. Because Luhan's record is too pervert, since his fame more than 10 years ago, the third generation Kazekage, the third generation Mizukage, the third generation Hokage, the third generation Tsuchikage, the demigods and the demigods. These people who stood at the top of the era, all died at the hands of Luhan. So terrifying, not only did Xiao Ai's attitude towards Luhan change, but even the high-level people in Kumogakure village also changed their minds. Before they thought the cold light was trouble and would bring disaster to Kumogakure village. But now, they feel that Han Guang is the new god of ninja world, and wherever he is, it is the safest place. So now the top management of Kumogakure not only does not want to chase people away, but also hopes that Han Guang can stay and live there. Teacher, where are you going? Xiao Ai asked. Luhan just said he was going out to do errands, but he didn't say what to do. Go to the land of rain, a Megakure village. Luhan replied, raising the teacup and taking a sip. He's going to take the initiative. Uchiha Madara is not dead, he is uneasy. Chapter 1058_Obsession with Killing. Luhan didn't tell Xiao Ai exactly what he was going to do in a Megakure village, and there was no need to say. At present, apart from him, there is no unrelated person in this world who knows the relationship between Konan, Nagato, Yahiko and Uchiha Madara. After all, the three of them should be 18 years old now. According to the original records, they should have established Akatsuki at this time, but the current Akatsuki has not been blackened. The purpose of their establishment is to bring peace to the country of rain, that is to say, the current Konan, Nagato, the three of Yahiko are still passionate young men with ideals and aspirations. Rinnegan is on Nagato. Luhan estimated that once Uchiha Madara used the technique of immortality for a new body, Nagato would definitely find Nagato and take back the Rinnegan that belonged to him. This was the fundamental reason why Luhan went to the land of rain. Can definitely wait until Uchiha Madara. Kill Uchiha Madara. In this regard, Luhan has formed an obsession. On the north side of the main building in the backyard of Gufeng Mansion, in the practice ground. The floor reflected bright colors, and Tsunade sat crossed on a futon in the middle of the training ground, his breath rising and falling. Luhan quietly appeared behind Tsunade, staring at Tsunade's back, motionless. After a moment, Tsunade finally noticed something and opened his eyes. I'm going to the land of rain. Luhan hugged Tsunade from behind and whispered, I don't want to kill Uchiha Madara, my heart is uneasy. Tsunade turned his head to look at Luhan, his beautiful eyes shone with a moving luster, but there was a gloom, and said softly, it's all my fault. I don't blame you. Luhan pinched Tsunade's cheek, pulling it as if it was fun, and tugging Tsunade's face a little out of shape. You are the person I love the most, you know. Come on, I'm not a child. I'm a child, okay. You're not a child either. Then let's have another baby, shall we? Han, stop, don't be here. Luhan pressed Tsunade to the ground and gave her a long kiss. He didn't let go until Tsunade was out of breath, and said close at hand, take care of yourself, take care of everyone, Xiao Ai will do her best to protect you. Wait for me to come back. Are you leaving right now? Well, maybe a few more days. Then stay a few more days. I will. Luhan and Tsunade were tired and crooked in the practice hall for a while, until the sound of Uzumaki Kushina calling for dinner was heard outside, and they got up. Not long after, in the lobby of the main building, a large round table was full of people. Lu Han, Tsunade, Ali, Hyuga Luoning, Uchiha Makoto, Uzumaki Kushina, a total of 6 people ate together. Obviously yin and yang were declining. They looked like a family, but in fact, in Lu Han's heart, they were a family. Let's eat. Lu Han picked up his chopsticks and said. Then everyone moved their chopsticks. Tsunade, like a mistress, first served Lu Han, then Xiao Ali, and Hyuga Luoning also put meatballs into Lu Han's bowl. In a few days, in 3 days, I will go to the land of rain. Lu Han said, officially announcing this matter. We'll have the opportunity to enter the disruptor space again. Lu Han has already counted all the drop rewards obtained in the Battle of Konoha. He killed Onoki, but he did not drop the Jinten particle-style blood succession elimination scroll, but it doesn't matter. As long as Lu Han enters the subversive space and the blood follows the elimination scroll, he can also afford it. Lu Han is about to complete the biggest improvement in his life in Kumogakure village, and then go to the land of rain. Governing a Megakure village is the first step of his action, and contacting Conan and others is the second step. His idea is to recruit Conan and others, and then, if Uchiha Madara doesn't show up, he will have his next move. In fact, everyone at the dinner table already knew about Lu Han's going to the land of rain, because Uzumaki Kushina overheard Lu Han's conversation with Xiao Ai and told it to others. Han, Lord Hengguang, isn't it very dangerous to go to the land of rain this time? Uchiha Makoto said in a low voice, looking a little too afraid to speak, and peeking at Tsunade. It's not dangerous, it's just more troublesome. Lu Han replied, smiling slightly at Uchiha Makoto. Uchiha Makoto, like a frightened bunny, hurriedly avoided Lu Han's eyes and glanced at Tsunade carefully. She's afraid of Tsunade. Tsunade doesn't like her, which makes her cautious in everything she does. Tsunade looked as usual, picked up the public chopsticks again, put a piece of fried meat in the bowl of Ali, and said, Ali, eat more meat. Immediately after, she picked up a piece of fried meat and placed it in the bowl of Uchiha Makoto casually. Inside, he said casually, you also eat more. Oh, thank you, Tsunade-sama. Uchiha Makoto looked very surprised, and did not dare to speak loudly, but his eyes were a little yuhi. I want to. Uzumaki Kushina immediately shouted, pouting at Tsunade even though he was in his 20s. Eat, and eat. Tsunade said angrily, and gave her a big drumstick. Hyuga Luoning rolled her eyes, stabbed Uchiha Makoto immediately, crawled into Uchiha Mikoto's ear and said something. Uchiha Makoto's face suddenly turned yuhi. Her shoulders arched Hyuga Luoning, and she made a voice like a mosquito. Don't talk nonsense. Lu Han glanced at Hyuga Luoning and Uchiha Makoto, and raised his brows. With his ear, he could naturally hear what Hyuga Luoning said. It was so dirty. Humph. Tsunade grunted in dissatisfaction, and gave Lu Han a complaining look. Father, mother, why are you winking? Xiao Ali asked with a look of confusion. Shut up. Eat well. As much as you talk. Lu Han, Tsunade, and Hyuga Luoning spoke one after another, all with a lesson tone. Oh, Xiao Ali was a little aggrieved. Time flies, another 3 days, late at night. In the attic on the top floor of the main building, in the narrow and dim space, the moonlight shone through the window into a patch of silver white. Lu Han sat cross-legged on the futon and waited quietly. He had already placed seals around him and warned no one to disturb him. 0 o'clock. Lu Han's body suddenly became illusory and then solid again. Chapter 1059-13,000 ingots. In the silver-white space, the light ball is suspended in the center, silent. Wow! The center of the ball of light suddenly cracked, and Lu Han walked out of the dark passage and turned to look at the ball of light, the messenger of subversion. Ingot exchange, Lu Han said. With the strange sound, the light ball burst into a dazzling light. This was a situation that had never happened before. Lu Han subconsciously took a step back and narrowed his eyes slightly. The light swayed in the entire space for a while, and then quickly condensed to form a huge cylinder. Lu Han was in the center of the cylinder, and there was a huge cylindrical light curtain around it, which was divided into square areas, each square, all represent an exchange. The reason for this change this time is because Lu Han holds too many ingots. In the Battle of Konoha village, Lu Han was killed. In addition to Onoki, hundreds of cage level, super elite, and elite Jonin died in Lu Han's hands. The total number of dropped items exceeded 5,000, and they were only rare weapons. It exploded nearly 20. As early as the day before yesterday, Lu Han had already sorted out the dropped items. The ones that should be used up and the ones that should be recycled were left to his son Ali. Although the value of those items was not low, they were different from those that should be recycled. Compared to the ingots that Lu Han currently holds, they are nothing. Lu Han now owns more than 13,000 ingots. Ding! Remind the subversive 3665 that the number of ingots you currently hold exceeds 10,000. Do you spend 10,000 yuan to open the special talent exchange list? The prompt sounded suddenly, and it turned out to be the voice of the subversive messenger. Special talent exchange list. Lu Han frowned and immediately asked, "What is that?" It is a more advanced exchange item combination, which needs to be unlocked to view the exchange. This list contains 12 special talents. Once exchanged, the subversive will have new creativity, including the talent of creating ninjutsu, the talent of creating technology, and Almighty creates talent. Quote. Oh, Lu Han replied lightly, looking not very interested. In fact, it's not that he is not interested, but it is impossible for him to spend 10,000 yuan to open the list now. That is a great waste. He has so many ingots, so naturally he needs to exchange ability first. Approaching the light curtain wall, Lu Han looked up, glanced slowly, and moved slowly, because the light curtain was a cylinder that circled around, so he had to walk in circles. Soon, he arrived at the exchange price of Impure World Reincarnation. A full 8,000 ingots are needed. This price is also against the sky. It is only S-level forbidden technique. The cheapest S-level forbidden technique can be exchanged for 100 yuan, but Impure World Reincarnation needs 8,000. Moreover, according to the level, it is also possible to exchange an Impure World Reincarnation scroll. It's only LV1 level. If you want to upgrade to the world's upper limit of LV6, you need a full 48,000 ingots, and if you want to upgrade to the subversive's upper limit of LV9, you need 72,000 ingots. Impure World Reincarnation isn't the most expensive yet. Lu Han continued to walk in circles, and what he saw required the ability to make his eyes hot. All-killing ash bones, priced at 8,000 ingots, redemption prerequisites, Master LV6 Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse Kekkei Genkei. Chibaku Tensai, Heavenly Body Bursting from the Earth priced at 8,000 ingots, exchange precondition, Master Rinnegan required. 80 Gods Vacuum Attack, priced at 10,000 ingots, redemption prerequisites, Master Kekkei Mora Physique required. Rinnegan, priced at 12,000 ingots, redemption preconditions, Mangekyo Sharingan, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, must be turned on. The highest selling price is Rinnegan, which is as high as 12,000 taels. Lu Han estimates that as long as he owns Rinnegan, his strength level will definitely enter the 90th level, even in the 4th Ninja War in the later period of the original work. It is also the top-level existence, and can fight Kagaya head-on. But one thing is very pitiful, that is, the exchange of Rinnegan requires preconditions, and it requires the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan of extreme pupil power. Lu Han has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but his pupil strength has not reached the limit. Lu Han found out that the higher the price of the exchange item, the higher the possibility of exchange preconditions, because many abilities are themselves part of another ability, such as 80 Gods Vacuum Attack, which itself is based on Kekkei. The Mora Physique is an ability that can only be cast based on the Kekkei Mora Physique, so Master 80 Gods Vacuum Attack is unreasonable without the Kekkei Mora Physique. It's like, Tsukuyomi's Mangekyo Sharingan, S ability, it is unreasonable to be able to cast Tsukuyomi without Mangekyo Sharingan. Rinnegan should not be the most valuable exchange. Because above Rinnegan, there is Samsara Sharingan. In addition, the Kekemora exchange item did not appear, nor did the power of 6 paths. In fact, Luhan is not sure whether there is an exchange item for the power of 6 paths, because the power of 6 paths is a manifestation of the power of Yin-Yang Dun, and the formation basis of Yin-Yang Dun is very complicated. Mental energy, Yang Dun is body energy, but neither can be used. Because Yin-Yang Dun is 6 paths sage art, an ability formed after special use of Yin Dun Yang Dun. Luhan looked at these exchange items repeatedly. He found that the only thing he could exchange was All-Killing Ash Bones. All-Killing Ash Bones itself is a Kekemora ability, but Kekemora itself has 2 concepts, one is physique, the other is ability, such as Sage Body is a Keke Genkei, and Footant Vapor Style is also a Keke Genkei, however the former is a constitution and the latter is an ability. And Kekemora has both, the ability of Otsutsuki Kagaya in the original book, or the spells performed, or all Kekemora, and her physique, she has the ability to use all attribute chakras for morphological change and nature transformation at will. This ability from her body, her special constitution is Kekemora. 80 Gods Vacuum Attack requires a Kekemora physique to cast. All-Killing Ash Bones don't need it. This ability is based on Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse Keke Genkei. However, Luhan was unwilling to exchange 8,000 ingots for such a thing. All-Killing Ash Bones are indeed powerful. It can be said that whoever touches them will die. Impure world reincarnation is useless, but that's all. The premise of killing people is that they can hit the opponent. Luhan continued to walk in circles and continued to watch. Chapter 1060_violence escalates. Luhan stopped and walked, constantly watching. There were too many exchangeable items, most of which made him less interested, and those that interested him, if he wanted to exchange, basically required preconditions. Luhan found out that even if he holds a lot of ingots, if he wants to become a god-like existence, he can't grow like a god. The rules are intentional. Because this can limit Luhan and prevent Luhan from only accumulating ingots, but not using them. If Luhan had obtained the ingot after possessing the strength of Jonin, he would not have used it at all. Although he could not kill powerful enemies, there were more low-level ninjas in this world, and he only needed to kill those weak beings without danger. Keep killing and accumulating, so that he only needs a certain amount of time to accumulate enough ingots to directly exchange for the most advanced abilities. This is obviously not allowed. There is no need for the rules to explicitly prohibit Luhan from doing this, but Luhan is unable to do so. Ding! Remind Subversion 3665, you still have 10 minutes to stay. The Subversion messenger's voice resounded throughout the space. Well, Luhan responded with a faint nasal voice, looked at the exchange in the light curtain area in front of him, thought about it, turned around and walked to the other side, and came to the other side of the Yuantong light curtain. Exchange the scrolls of Horaishin, S. Art, 5. Luhan said. At present, Luhan's Horaishin technique is LV4, which can be exchanged for 5 scrolls. After all of them are used, his Horaishin technique will reach LV9, which is the highest level that a subversive can achieve. In the Hokage world, any character in this world can cultivate any. The highest technique can only reach LV6 level. Luhan's LV9 ultimate Horaishin technique will become the strongest time and space technique, there is no doubt about that. Ding! The exchange is complete. The Subversion messenger replied. Re-exchange, Raiden Thunder Style, Chakra Mode Scroll, 5. Luhan's Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode is currently LV4, and if you exchange 5 more, it will reach full level after use. He dare not say that he will have the strongest attack ability in the world, but his physical defense ability, I am afraid it will reach the strongest. Luhan's superimposed improvement is actually very violating. Just like cheating, he uses the advantages given to him by the rules to make his ability break through the limit. Although such an improvement is not as strong as having those godlike abilities, it can also let Lu Han's strength be upgraded with pure violence. Ding! The exchange is complete. The subversive messenger replied again. 6,000 ingots have been spent, and 7,000 ingots are left. Lu Han opened his data interface and looked at it. His Sage mode is currently only LV2. He had only used one Sage mode scroll before, and then he relied on cultivation to raise it one level. Sage mode scrolls are too expensive. To exchange one, it takes 3,000 ingots. But this kind of ability that can comprehensively improve the ninja's speed, strength, reaction awareness, and self-healing ability, this price is not too much. Lu Han hesitated again and pondered. He no longer intends to exchange those top abilities. The preconditions are not satisfied, although some can be exchanged, but he does not like it, and the practicality is not so strong. But even if he can't master those top abilities, Lu Han can rely on improving other ordinary top abilities to become the strongest. You can stack it up. What can be superimposed? Lu Han wants to exchange Mokuden, wood style, and upgrade Mokuden, wood style, to the highest level, but there is a problem, that is, the top abilities of Mokuden, wood style, such as wood dragon jutsu, the top of the Buddha, or all it is the ability that requires a separate exchange, and the exchange of these spells requires double preconditions. It requires a higher level Sage body and a higher level Mokuden, wood style, ability. And Lu Han's ingot is not enough. He can only raise the Mokuden, wood style technique to a certain level first, but it is not enough to raise it to the highest level, so it will be boring. No matter how high the Mokuden, wood style technique level is, if you can't use several of the strongest abilities, at most, the attack range will become larger and then larger. Lu Han thought for a while. Ding! Remind the subversive 3665, you still have 5 minutes to stay. The subversive messenger said. The Sage mode scroll. Lu Han looked up at the ball of light, sighed, and chose this one, exchange for 2. Ding! Exchange completed. Another 6,000 ingots were spent, and 1,000 ingots remained. Lu Han took out all the 12 scrolls from his space backpack. He used 5 scrolls of Horaishin, S technique, 5 scrolls of Raiden, Thunder style, chakra mode, and 2 scrolls of Sage mode. This way, his Horaishin technique and Raiden, Thunder style, chakra mode have reached the highest LV9 level. And Sage mode, it has reached the LV4 level. That's enough. In the Hokage world, the highest Sage mode is LV6. Although Lu Han's LV4 Sage mode is not the strongest, it can even be said that the gap is not small, but when used with Raiden Thunder style chakra mode, it will definitely not be worse than LV6 Sage mode. He doesn't have a stronger enemy now, and that is Uchiha Madara. With his current strength, there will never be any problem in killing Uchiha Madara. As long as Uchiha Madara appears in front of him again, he will never escape. Dark night, in the attic. Lu Han's body was illusory and solid again. He stood up and wanted to try his ability to change, but after thinking about it, let it go. In the middle of the night, it is not easy for him to make too much noise in Kumogakure village. Dodged and disappeared into the attic. In the corridor on the 2nd floor of the wooden building, Lu Han appeared out of thin air. He first quietly walked a few steps to the room on the left and stood in front of the door, where Tsunade and Hyuga Luoning were both asleep, breathing evenly. Lu Han took a few more steps to the room on the right. Across the door, he could feel that Xiao Li was sleeping soundly. He flashed away again. In the corridor on the 3rd floor, Lu Han reappeared. The room on the right, Uzumaki Kushina is sleeping. The room on the left, Uchiha Makoto tossed and turned, unable to sleep well. Uchiha Makoto didn't live here originally, but in the front yard. After that, she was allowed to live here for various reasons and also for safety reasons. It was late at night and she still hadn't slept. Lu Han stood at the door, thought about it seriously, and then disappeared. Quiet bedroom. Uchiha Makoto curled up on the soft couch, weeping silently. Lu Han appeared beside the couch out of thin air. Chapter 1061 Go straight to a Megakure village. The moonlight was dim outside the window, and the light inside was extremely dim. Uchiha Makoto was wrapped in a nightgown made of veil, lying on his side on the soft couch with his back to the outside, his shoulders shaking from time to time, and a slight sobbing sound came out. She was crying, and she didn't know why. Luhan stood aside and looked at her motionless. "It's been a long time. What's wrong with you?" Luhan asked. Uchiha Makoto sat up in fright and felt a sharp kunai from under the pillow with one hand at the same time. When she saw that the person beside the soft couch was Luhan, she immediately put down the kunai and hurriedly raised her hand to wipe the corner of her eyes' tears. "Han, Lord Hangwang, nothing. Why are you crying?" Luhan hooked Uchiha Makoto's chin with his hand and wiped the corner of Uchiha Makoto's eyes with his thumb. I'm fine." Uchiha Makoto looked as if there was no problem, and smiled reluctantly. "Master Hangwang is going to leave tomorrow, right? Why don't you rest?" As she spoke, she tilted her head to the side, as if she didn't want Luhan to touch her face. I don't know who she is embarrassing about. In fact, Luhan understood Uchiha Makoto's thoughts. She cried because she felt wronged. She had resentment. The reason why she feels wronged and resentful is because Luhan has been ignoring her since he came back from Konoha village. Even though Tsunade has made strong hints, Luhan still doesn't really accept her. These days, it has been a torment for Uchiha Makoto. Luhan was about to leave, and she didn't know when she would come back. As the time of Luhan's departure got closer and closer, she felt more and more difficult, so she cried alone this night. Luhan's fingertips slid gently on Uchiha Makoto's cheek, tilted his head slightly, and looked at her with burning eyes. "Han, Lord Hangwang," Uchiha Makoto stuttered nervously. "Do you remember what you called me when you were young?" Luhan interrupted and asked. "Han, brother Han." Uchiha Makoto had a feeling he couldn't say. "Yeah," Luhan responded with a nasal voice, then put down his hand and said, "Take off your clothes." "What?" Uchiha Makoto didn't respond. "Then I'll help you." Luhan started directly, grabbed Uchiha Makoto's nightgown, pulled the straps off, and peeled off the nightgown. Uchiha Makoto was stunned. Luhan pushed her down on the soft couch again, stood beside the soft couch and looked at her, then raised his hand to unbutton his clothes. "Brother Han, woo." Uchiha Makoto burst into tears. "Shish." Luhan blocked Uchiha Makoto's mouth. "Be quieter." "Woo, woo." Uchiha Makoto nodded vigorously, pursed his lips, and took the initiative to help Luhan undress. Then he couldn't help hugging Luhan, his cheeks pressed against Luhan's fiery heat on the chest. Luhan hugged her and fell on the soft couch. On a new day, Uchiha Makoto woke up from Luhan's arms, with dry tears still in the corners of her eyes. She was smiling, looked up at Luhan's chin, suddenly probed and kissed Luhan's cheek, with a little happiness on her face. "Look. It's almost time." Luhan opened his eyes and looked down at Uchiha Makoto with a smile. Dong dong dong. There was a sudden knock on the door. "Han, get up and eat." Tsunade's voice sounded outside the door. Uchiha Makoto's expression changed suddenly, subconsciously panicked. He looked at Luhan, then at the door, and asked in a low voice, "How does Master Tsunade know? Who made you scream so loud last night?" Luhan laughed and teased. Uchiha Makoto's complexion brushed Yuhi up. "Don't call her Lord Tsunade, you can call her sister in the future," Luhan said again. Uchiha Makoto nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. When Luhan, who was neatly dressed, took Uchiha Makoto out, Tsunade had walked away and went downstairs. When Luhan and her came to the lobby on the first floor, the food was ready and everyone else had arrived. Even Xiao-ai had already come. He knew that Luhan was leaving today, so he came to say goodbye. "Teacher." Seeing Luhan coming downstairs, Xiao-ai greeted him respectfully. "Yeah." Luhan nodded to Xiao-ai. Table, Uzumaki Kushina looked indignant and was whispering to Xiao Ili while biting her ears. She glanced at Luhan and lowered her voice. but Lu Han could hear clearly that she was encouraging Ali. Lu Han and Uchiha Makoto sat down at the dinner table. "Dad, do I have another little mother?" Ali asked boldly. "Well, yes." Lu Han nodded, but did not avoid anything. Xiao Ai was confused when she heard it. She looked at Uchiha Makoto. Her mouth moved, but she didn't say anything. One more little girl. He really couldn't speak. Hyuga Luoning is not younger than him, and the little sister calls it, but Uchiha Makoto is a few years younger than him. He is very sad. The ghost knows whether Lu Han will have other women. ... I tell you, don't imitate your father, he's a bad guy. Hey, he was deceived. Uzumaki Kushina whispered to Ali again, and looked at Lu Han angrily. "Damn girl, if you don't eat, stand by the wall." Lu Han glared at Uzumaki Kushina. Kushina suddenly became honest, pouting and sulking. "Eat," Lu Han said and picked up his chopsticks. After eating this meal, Lu Han is going to leave. For Lu Han, it is nothing, because he knows that he will come back and he is going to take revenge. But for others, it is parting, so this meal is not. The atmosphere was gloomy. "Is Tai Shuo still in retreat?" Lu Han glanced at Xiao Ai and asked. "Yes, do you want to inform him?" Xiao Ai replied. "Forget it, no need." Lu Han shook his head and said, "When he gets out of the customs, you can ask him to find me in a Megakure village." After dinner, Lu Han said goodbye to everyone and disappeared. Straight to a Megakure village. 2 days later, the land of rain, a Megakure village. In the torrential rain, in a village made of steel. In the streets and alleys, people are in a hurry. There are many people, but there is no anger, and the atmosphere is dead. Even in the pub and restaurant, you can't hear any loud noises. In places with many people, people are only talking in low voices, appearing cautious. Lu Han appeared out of thin air on the tower in the south of a Megakure village. Chapter 1062_submission. Die. The rain poured down, constantly washing over the decaying village of a Megakure, washing away the invisible cloud. Standing on the steel tower, Lu Han glanced down at the streets and the hurrying figures. He didn't hide his whereabouts, just stood there and looked down. The identity information is displayed on the top of that individual's head, mostly with orange names, because there are far more ordinary people here than ninjas. The Megakure village of this era has experienced the Third Ninja War, and there were originally more than 4,000 of ninjas, less than half of the 5 major ninja villages. After Hanzo's death, there was another civil strife in a Megakure village. Some people fled a Megakure village, and a lot of people were killed by cannibalism, so now there are only more than 3,000 ninjas left in a Megakure village, and the number is only guarded by Konoha Legion White. As for the number of ordinary people, there are as many as 20,000 people. Ordinary people in a Megakure village, many of whom were captured, are laborers and coolies, and they are forced to do some heavy manual labor every day. Lu Han can still see that in the northwest corner of a Megakure village, where the iron tower is still being built, thousands of laborers are working against the wind and rain. The rain is getting heavier. Lu Han always stood there and didn't move. Just watching. The rain splashed on him will hit an invisible barrier and bounce off. He is like a rain insulator and will not be attacked by the rainstorm. Sudden call. A figure appeared out of thin air on the tower where Lu Han was, and on the other tower beside it. The distance was only 20 meters. The figure was very tall and thin, wearing a black robe and mask, with an extremely cold breath, but it was an Megakure Anbu ninja. Yuhi name. A Megakure Anbu ninja, level 40 bronze boss. Stop the crying. Han with deep fear in his eyes. He was an elite Jonin honed in the cruel environment of a Megakure village, with a steel-like will, but he was not a dead man after all, and he would also be afraid. Because the ninja world kills the god Han Guang, the invincible cold light in the world, he is here. Right here. Lu Han glanced at him and said lightly, "Go and tell them, if you follow suit, you will live, and if you go wrong, you will die." As he spoke, Lu Han's hand lightly placed his hand on the hilt of the Sword of Astonishment. Stop crying and disappear. Not long after, figures appeared on the surrounding towers. On the streets below, teams of ninjas are coming, more and more. Thousands of Omegakure ninjas came in droves. Ordinary people around here were driven out, streets were blocked, all buildings were occupied by ninjas. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, more than 3,000 ninjas, here they come. All are Yuhi names. Inside map shows that the strongest person in the Omegakure village today, the big Yuhi name, is a cage-level existence. Acting leader of Omegakure village, level 60 bronze boss, Asgo. The Yuhi name almost came. Luhan looked at Arogo, but didn't seem to care too much. His eyes swept around again, and with those faces, he could see that many of the more than 3,000 ninjas were very nervous, and some were even afraid. No one is not afraid. It's just that some people have it written on their faces, and some people don't. Losing Hanzo's Omegakure village is like losing its backbone, and Han Guang is so powerful, killing the entire ninja world. Invincible is invincible. Submit, or die. Give you a minute, Luhan said in a low voice. Silence. Only the rain is falling. In the entire ninja world, no one dares to say such arrogant words when facing 3,000 ninjas alone, even if they are the same as the enemy of 10,000 people, they will not say such a thing. Only Luhan can say this, and he said this. No one thinks that he is too arrogant, and even thinks that it is a matter of course. Because if he can say it, he will do it. Thousands of Omegakure ninjas look at me, I look at you. They did not surrender immediately, because they are the most powerful ninja group in the whole ninja world. If Hanzo is still there, they will even have no hesitation with Luhan fight without fear of life and death. Hanzo is gone, they lack a leader who is strong enough, and they lack an object of allegiance who is deeply integrated into the will, so they came, but they did not fight, they were hesitating. Asger stared at Luhan with gloomy eyes. He knows that he is not Han Guang's opponent, and even the 3,000 people combined are not necessarily Han Guang's opponent, but he can't surrender to Han Guang, because once he does this, if Luhan doesn't kill him, Black Zetsu will also kill him. He will kill all his relatives. In a glorious battle, or being killed after surrendering, he chose the former. Kill. Asger yanked out his knife and shouted. Kill. Thousands of Omegakure ninjas echoed at the same time. Sweden, water style, great waterfall technique. Quote. Kaden, fire style, dragon flame jutsu. Sweden, water style, heavy rain. Futon, wind style, tornado. The battle started. After a breath, the ninjutsu slammed into the tower where Luhan was located, but Luhan had disappeared out of thin air. After a moment, he appeared behind Asgo out of thin air. It exploded directly into blood mist, and golden light erupted. Luhan only killed him, and then disappeared. All the ninjas of Omegakure lost their target, and all looked around on alert. Submit, or die. Luhan's violent shout was like thunder, resounding throughout the Omegakure village. Where is he? Find him. Escape, let's escape. He's not human, he's too strong. After a minute, Luhan appeared out of thin air, flickering continuously, firing a knife 100 times in a row, and then disappearing again. There were 100 more headless corpses on the street, all of which were beheaded by Luhan with one knife. Submit, or die. Luhan's voice resounded through Omegakure village again. Find him quickly. Kill, I'm going to kill him. Hangguang, come out. After a minute, Luhan reappeared, like a gust of wind sweeping leaves, in just a few seconds, slashing 100 people in a row, that is, one knife at a time, no more, no less, just right, another 100 people. Then disappeared again. Submit, or die, said the same words again. This time, there were fewer scolding and shouting. Some people even chose to surrender, dropped their weapons, and fell to the ground, only to be slashed by the Omegakure ninja beside them. After a minute, Luhan is back. Chapter 1063_See the Cold Light Commander. Submit, or die. Luhan, who appeared on the tower again, said loudly. Kill him. We fought. The ninjutsu attacked Lu Han overwhelmingly, and the tower was directly destroyed, but Lu Han disappeared again. After an instant, he appeared among the Omegakure ninjas, flickering like lightning. He was selectively killing people, mainly low-level ninjas, while high-level ninjas also targeted killings, mainly those who kept shouting. After killing 100 people again, Lu Han disappeared. Submit, or die, Lu Han shouted again. Many Omegakure ninjas have already understood what Lu Han means. Lu Han is trying to force them all to surrender. If it is fully developed, Lu Han can't stop it, and they can't stop it. The two sides are fighting fiercely. Most of the people here will be killed. Lu Han killed it directly. But now, Lu Han killed 100 people. For every 100 he kills, he adds a layer of psychological stress to the still living Omegakure ninjas. That's the case for every 100 people killed. Layer upon layer of psychological pressure will gradually defeat them. At present, the Omegakure group has no leader, and there is no ninja with great prestige who can lead the Omegakure ninja to fight, so the tactics are extremely effective. Lu Han has seen that at least hundreds of people's names have changed from Yuhi to Orange. Choose to surrender. But dare not say it. Because beside them, there are still a lot of Yuhi-named ninjas who are not ready to surrender. At this time, whoever surrenders first will be killed by the ninjas around them. After a minute, Lu Han reappeared, slashing wildly. Submit, or die. Submit, or die. Submit, or die. Submit, or die. Lu Han killed 700 people in a row. Counting the person who was first killed, there are 701 people in total. He appeared again, standing on the steel tower, and glanced at the dark Omegakure ninja below. This time, there was no clamor, not even a sound, and no one dared to fight again. All Omegakure ninjas, I look at you one by one, you look at me. A large number of Yuhi-named ninjas began to transform into orange names. They all lost the will to fight and the courage to fight against Lu Han, because this was a one-sided massacre, and they had no chance at all. If they persisted, there can only be an ending of being killed. The ground is full of corpses, and the ground is full of blood. Silence. Submit, or die, Lu Han said in a low voice again. Pat. Pat. Blah 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 blah. Don't know who dropped the weapon first, and then a large number of Omegakure ninjas dropped their weapons. The crackling sound was not heard, and all the Omegakure ninjas began to kneel in groups, bowed their heads to Lu Han, and surrendered. They all chose submission. Not long after, there were no more people standing on the street, and they all fell to their knees. Silence again. Lu Han glanced around. A few blocks below the tower, in the heavy rain, there were people kneeling, full of people, almost 2,500 ninjas, most of whom were already orange names, according to the system's decision rules and the situation at the scene. As long as they become orange names, it means that they sincerely surrender. Omegakure village is a ninja village that follows the law of the jungle. The strong are respected. They believe in the strong. As long as they are strong enough, they can make them surrender. Even, they will be more loyal. However, there are still some people who are false submissions. Lu Han could see that there were almost 100 people who were also kneeling on the ground, expressing submission, but they were still named Yuhi. Obviously, they had to kneel because everyone around them had fallen, otherwise, they would have to kneel. It became too obvious that they were afraid of being directly targeted and killed by Lu Han. I'll give you another chance. Lu Han spoke again, his voice like rolling thunder. I know that many of you don't follow me sincerely, maybe you still miss Hanzo, maybe you have a last resort, maybe I killed your relatives, but it doesn't matter, I don't mind. Lu Han paused, glanced down, and raised his voice again. Now, you can go. You can choose to leave Omegakure village. Remember, don't lie to me. If you don't want to work under me, leave here immediately, but, I also want you to think clearly. I, Han Guang. I will become the new master of Omegakure village. I am stronger than you think. Follow me, it is not a bad thing for you. Quote. 1 minute, make your choice now. Lu Han finished speaking. The place was quiet again. The torrential rain poured down, clouding people's sight. Lu Han noticed that among the more than 100 Yuhi names left, there were more than 10 Yuhi names, which became orange names. If you want to stay, you must follow Lu Han. Some even showed excitement. Because what they are going to follow is the first powerhouse in the ninja world, the invincible cold light in the ninja world. With the cold light, a Megakure village will surely usher in a new era and become prosperous. Finally someone stood up, said nothing, and the hand seal disappeared. Then the second, the third. Lu Han ignored them. He said let them go, let them go. 1 minute is up. A total of 16 people chose to leave, and they all moved frantically to the outside of the Megakure village. And present, there are 6 Yuhi names. I don't know why they haven't left yet. They want to hide beside Lu Han. What must they do? It's rare that they are from Black Zetsu. Lu Han didn't care who they were, and disappeared on the tower. Flashes appeared in the crowd, and the knife light flashed by. What a big head flying. Lu Han disappeared again and reappeared in the crowd on the roof. The sword light flashed again. Kill, kill, kill. As long as it's Yuhi's name, kill it. Lu Han killed 5 people in a row, and the last Yuhi was left. Just as Lu Han was about to move over, Jonan jumped up and yelled at Lu Han, Hengguang, you have to die, you. He obviously knew that he couldn't escape. Lu Han killed too accurately, so he had to scold him before he died. Puff. Lu Han flashed past him and chopped off his head. Starting today, holding the knife, Lu Han slowly turned around. I, Han Guang, are the new generation leaders of a Megakure village, and you are all my subordinates. Those who betray the village will be killed without mercy. See Commander Cold Light. See Commander Cold Light. See Commander Cold Light. A sound of mountains and tsunamis. Chapter 1064-Build a Megakure Village. Light ruled the village of a Megakure, and the news spread throughout the entire ninja world within 3 days. The spies of various forces and organizations, as soon as they got the news, used the fastest means to send the information back to the headquarters of their respective forces, and the ninja world was shocked again. Everyone has a hunch that the situation in this world is going to change. Han Guang, who had deep roots in Konoha, did not directly rule Konoha after the Battle of Konoha because of the killing of Sarutobi Hiruzen, and even took Tsunade, who was unanimously recognized by the top of Konoha as sufficient to take on the responsibility of Hokage. When he did this, Ben was once thought that Han Guang was going to retire. Han Guang has no desire for power and no ambition to rule the ninja world. This is the speculation of all forces in the ninja world on Han Guang after the Konoha battle. Unexpectedly, in just a few days, Han Guang took down the precarious Megakure village by means of thunder, and publicly declared that he would become the new generation commander of the Megakure village. What is he doing? Many people are worried because the cold light is too strong. If he guards a Megakure village, it will be difficult for a Megakure village to be strong. There are only 5 great ninja villages in the ninja world. Although the former Megakure village is strong, it is still one step behind the 5 major ninja villages. However, Han Guang has the strength and ability to make Megakure the 6th largest ninja village, which is beyond doubt. And the Land of Rain, where a Megakure village is located, is a strategic location. They are bordered by the 3 great powers of fire, wind and earth. Under such circumstances, if Han Guang strengthens a Megakure, what changes will it bring to the ninja world? There are a lot of guesses and worries, but the 5 major ninja villages, except for Kumogakure village, who publicly expressed their congratulations, the other 4 ninja villages are silent and have not publicly expressed any opinions. Because Sunagakure, Iwagakure, and Kurigakure were all killed by Lu Han. The vitality was severely damaged. Because of the casualties of a large number of top powerhouses, chaos occurred in the 3 major ninja villages. They were talking, and they couldn't do anything else. Konoha, the country of fire, it is also in chaos, and Konoha is very embarrassed, and nothing is right. Although Hangguang is a ninja who went out from Konoha, he is also the murderer who killed Sarutobi Hiruzen, the hostile village chief of Omegakure. You know, the land of rain borders the land of fire. Light reigns over Omegakure, which is not a good thing for Konoha. In comparison, Kumogakure village is very different. First of all, Kumogakure village has always been friendly with Luhan. Second, Reikage, the current Kumogakure village, is Luhan's direct disciple. Thirdly, Kumogakure village and Omegakure village are far apart and do not border, so there is no possibility of conflict. It is the so-called far-reaching close attack. Therefore, Kumogakure village absolutely supports Luhan, whether it is Xiao-I himself or Kumogakure executives, and they will become Omegakure's hardcore ally from now on. Luhan ignored the outside discussions. Since he ruled Omegakure village, he has been very busy these days. He's combing Omegakure Murakami up and down. Make a change in the governance structure first. And reorganize the Omegakure core, select talents, reorganize the top management, and clean up the internal contradictions of Omegakure, and kill a group of people. It can be said to be a bloody cleanse. Luhan wanted to make Omegakure into a monolith, and he had to do it. Even many ordinary people died at the hands of Luhan. All Yuhi name. Luhan has no time to influence them. Omegakure went through civil strife, most of the capable high-level leaders died, and there were not many talents available, so Luhan had to do many things himself. Luhan also abolished the slavery system in Omegakure village, but did not let the laborers leave Omegakure, forcibly detained everyone, and let them continue to build Omegakure village. There is a huge gap between the wages of ordinary people and the income of ninjas. So even if you pay the laborers, it's not that much. Luhan is very rich. Not counting what he gave to Tsunade, his space backpack also contained astronomical amounts of money. He first took out 200 million taels and put it into the Omegakure treasury as working capital. He wants to build Omegakure village. Nearly speaking, it is for Konan Nagato and the others, to give Tsunade and them a safe home, and far from it, it is to prepare for the subversion of the world. In this way, Luhan was busy for 6 consecutive days. 7th day. Luhan made a public statement in Omegakure village to recruit ninjas from all directions. No matter what ninja in the ninja village, whether it is a lone ninja, a missing nin, a killer, or a vicious one. Anyone, as long as they are ninjas, can come to Omegakure village. No matter what your previous status was, as long as you defected to Omegakure, you will be able to change your ways and swear allegiance to Omegakure and never deviate from it. Then, all the cause and effect of the past will be forgotten. Luhan wants to recruit the tyrants from all over the world to expand the strength of Omegakure. No one in the ninja village dares to do this, and no one in the 5 ninja villages dares, because if everyone accepts everything, the village will become smoky, intriguing and intriguing, new hatred and old hatred, something will happen. But Luhan was not afraid of this situation. Because he can see everyone's identity data, can see if there is any harm in dealing with it. As long as the name is Yuhi, those who want to come to Omegakure village to hang out, want to take refuge but harbor evil intentions, Luhan will kill without mercy. He made it very clear in his statement that he must change his ways and swear allegiance. If you are not loyal, if you are a spy, if you have other thoughts of harm, in Luhan's eyes, the name is Yuhi. It's too easy for Luhan to find such a person. This is the confidence that he dares to recruit the quartet. As soon as this statement came out, it spread throughout the entire ninja world, and public opinion was once again in an uproar. Many people think that the cold light is crazy, it is too radical. At the same time, it has also caused more people's worries. They are all thinking, what exactly is Hangguang doing? The 10th day that Luhan ruled Omegakure village. A powerful ninja arrives from the remote village of Kumogakure. Dominate the building. Teacher. When the visitor saw Luhan, he knelt down to greet him respectfully. Okay, get up. Luhan helped him up in the future. This person is none other than Luhan's knee, direct disciple, and the only disciple who has obtained the true inheritance of Lu Han's swordsmanship, the former captain of Konoha Anbu, Hokage I. Hokage I had retreated in Kumogakure village before, and he only left the customs recently. He hurried over after listening to Lu Han's instructions from Xiao Ai. The arrival of Hokage I is a big help for Lu Han. He was finally able to escape. Lu Han appointed Hokage I as the first high-level advisor of Omegakure and also serves as the captain of Anbu. He temporarily entrusted the management of Omegakure village to Hokage I. He left alone. Going to the southwest of the Rain country, he is going to find Konan, Nagato, Yahiko and others. Chapter 1065_Search and Guess. Akatsuki currently has a certain reputation in the country of Rain, but they do not control any villages, they are separated from the mundane world, so no one knows where they are. I only know an approximate range of activities, that is, in the southwest of the land of Rain. The rain is pouring and the wind is howling. The air is very cold and humid. Lu Han appeared in the air out of thin air. Looking down, there was an endless forest below, and a faint mist shrouded the forest. This is already the southwest region of the land of Rain. Lu Han was suspended in the air for a short time, and his body began to fall downward. He flashed again and appeared high in the sky. Since the acquisition of the LV9 Ultimate Horaishin ability, Lu Han's use of Horaishin has undergone a qualitative change. He can even perform short-distance teleportation without using Horaishin Kunai and without relying on the Horaishin technique. This is very similar to the Shadow Cat's ability, but currently it can only move directly in short distances. For long distances, it is still necessary to rely on Horaishin Kunai. Using the above technique, tear out the teleportation port in space. Lu Han flickered frequently above the forest, constantly changing directions, and the insight map was always open. It was very convenient for him to find someone, he only needed to determine a range and conduct a carpet search. Because of the insight map, he doesn't need to walk through each area step by step. One scan of the insight map is enough to let Lu Han know the situation within dozens of square kilometers. No one is there, the insight map will be displayed directly. The entire forest was quickly searched by Lu Han. He dived into the distant mountains and continued to search. I don't know whether Akatsuki's base is underground now, so Lu Han searched very carefully. He found a lot of people. Some mountain woodcutters, some wandering samurai, ninjas, and even some missing nin, the wicked. But it has nothing to do with Akatsuki. Lu Han was looking for Konan and others, the most important of which was Nagato, because Rinnegan was on him. Uchiha Madara has obtained the art of immortality, and Orochimaru is with him again. With Orochimaru's help, he will most likely be reincarnated with a younger body. But this can't be done overnight. Reincarnation without a corpse is not perfect, the process of changing the body is very complicated, and it is impossible for Uchiha Madara to change to a normal body, he must make a choice and let Black Zetsu find the best one for him. To Lu Han's calculations, Uchiha Madara should be in a state of half-dead by now. Hide somewhere. Because in the previous Konoha battle, Uchiha Madara had almost put everything down and tried his best. I'm afraid he won't appear again until he changes his body. Konan and the others have become the key for Lu Han to find Uchiha Madara. I just don't know, after Uchiha Madara withdrew that day, did he directly order Black Zetsu to find Konan Nagato and the others and transfer them? In fact, this possibility is not high. Because after all, Uchiha Madara has not completed the reincarnation, it is impossible to complete it in such a short time. And he still has the possibility of failing reincarnation, so until the last minute, he probably won't go to Nagato to get Rinnegan back. Everything was calculated by Lu Han. So, 3 days later. Lu Han searched for 3 days in the southwest of the Land of Rain, but he couldn't find any trace of Konan and the others. Akatsuki seemed to have left this area, which made Lu Han have a bad premonition. Is Black Zetsu contacting them? Will they be moved? In what way did Black Zetsu contact them? After all, the current Nagato doesn't know anything about the inside story. He doesn't even know why Rinnegan is in him. Konan, Nagato, and Yahiko are all hot-blooded teenagers, contributing to the peace of the Rain Country. Black Zetsu would have no chance if they approached them as their true identity. Because the existence of Black Zetsu is no longer a secret, it was completely exposed during the Battle of Konoha. He is Uchiha Madara's subordinate and an important figure who provoked war in the ninja world. Forcibly take away. Does Black Zetsu have that kind of power? Against Nagato, who has Rinnegan, if he sneaks a sneak attack, he will definitely have a chance, but that way the taste will change. Uchiha Madara can't possibly let him do this, it's very unsafe. Orochimaru. Luhan thought of a possibility. What would happen if Orochimaru went to contact them? A Megakure village, a thriving scene. Luhan invested a lot of money to start the expansion of a Megakure village, recruited a large number of laborers, and gave enough wages. Because Luhan is too strong, everyone now knows that a Megakure village is not to be provoked and very safe. Therefore, many ordinary people in the Land of Rain are willing to come to a Megakure village to make money. In the middle of a Megakure village, on a small square, more than 100 foreign ninjas gathered on the north side of the square, whispering and talking. They are the ninjas who have defected to a Megakure village for the past few days. Luhan announced that he would recruit heroes from all over the world, which attracted many lone ninjas and even missing nin from other countries. Come and flee. These more than 100 ninjas are the first batch. The weakest is only Genin. The strongest is only Jonin, and there are very few. Less than 10 people. In the ninja world, there are many powerful beings who walk alone, but they seldom suddenly decide which force to join, because they are powerful. As long as they don't cause big trouble, they will live very well, and they are free and do not like to be controlled. Therefore, those who can now defect to a Megakure village are all ninjas who are not strong enough, or who are in trouble. On the square, more than 40 ninjas from a Megakure Anbu gathered on the north side of the square. The leading ninja, although wearing a mask and restrained breath, is daunting, because everyone here knows his identity. Former captain of Konoha Anbu. The direct disciple of the shinobi world killer Hangwang. The current captain of a Megakure Anbu, Hatake Taishuo. Hatake Taishuo also belongs to the existence standing on the top of the ninja world. In the entire ninja world, there are only a handful of people who can defeat him one-on-one. Mainly because many superpowers have died in the hands of Luhan. These 2 months come on, Hanzo, Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Onoki were all killed by the cold light. To show that the strength on the surface can still stabilize Hatake Taishuo, I am afraid there is only the 4th generation of Reikage Xiaoai left. Kei Xiaoai is Hatake Taishuo's junior brother. I repeat, I hope that you are sincere in a Megakure. If not, please leave immediately, otherwise, once you find out that you have different intentions, kill without mercy. Hatake Taishuo shouted coldly. Chapter 1066_White Fang must be resurrected. More than 100 ninjas who are going to defect to a Megakure are still whispering, looking at each other, and communicating. They didn't come on the same day. People come every day these days. Those who came early knew that Hatake Taishuo would gather them together every day and say something similar. Were indeed some ninjas who gave up running because of Hatake Taishuo's words, and Hatake Taishuo also let them go without stopping him. Today Hatake Taishuo said again, many people are already impatient. They came early. These days in a Megakure village, they are under guard and cannot move freely. They are like prisoners. Hatake Taishuo did not officially accept them on behalf of a Megakure. Master Wufang, you a Megakure, do you accept us? I've been here for a few days. Someone asked boldly. Wufang is Hatake Taishuo, his current code name. I will accept it. Hatake Taishuo replied, but you must confirm whether you are sincere and whether you can be loyal to a Megakure and my teacher Hangwang after joining. Swear allegiance to Lord Hangwang. I am willing to pledge my allegiance. Many people shouted slogans. Call. At this moment, a figure appeared out of thin air on the square, wearing a black robe with a deep breath. It was Lu Han. "See, teacher. See the leader. I have seen Lord Hengguang." The people in the square all knelt down at almost the same time and greeted respectfully. "Get up," Lu Han said blankly. He was in a bad mood and couldn't find Conan and the others. Everyone stood up again. Hokage Taishuo quickly walked to Lu Han's side, and whispered to Lu Han, "Teacher, they are." Lu Han listened and turned around to see the more than 100 ninjas who were going to join Omegakure. After Hokage Taishuo finished speaking, Lu Han nodded and hummed. Standing with their hands behind their backs, Lu Han's eyes swept across the faces. None of these people dared to look at Lu Han, and they all avoided Lu Han's gaze, a total of 121 people. There were old and young, male and female, and it looks quite messy. Elderly lone ninjas come to Omegakure. Their strength is not strong, and they are likely to come to old age. But Lu Han doesn't mind. No matter how old the ninja is, it has value. For example, if Lu Han wants to open a ninja school in Omegakure village, he needs these old guys. They have lived from the Sengoku era to today, and they have super rich combat experience and super survival skills. In comparison, these elderly ninjas are more suitable to be teachers. Total of 7 Yuhi names. All are grown men. Naturally, these people have different intentions and may cause damage to Omegakure or Lu Han. Because of the faction, anyone who wants to cause damage to Omegakure will be named Yuhi. You come out. Lu Han raised his finger and pointed out all the 7 people. The 7 people walked out with their heads lowered and stood in a row. 4 of them are lone ninjas, and 3 are from small forces within the Kingdom of Rain. Lu Han walked over slowly and came to the first person on the left. This was a middle-aged man with a bald head. He looked very thin, with sharp mouths and monkey cheeks. He had 2 knives on his body. "Look up and look at me," Lu Han said in a low voice. Yes. The middle-aged man raised his head nervously. Eye to eye. This moment, Lu Han's eyes widened, and the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan appeared, spinning rapidly. Demonic illusion attack. The middle-aged man was shocked, and then his eyes were blank. "Tell me, why did you come to Omegakure village?" I want revenge. Back then, my parents, my brother, both died in the battle with Hongguang. Everyone around showed a horrified look. They knew that this person was controlled by demonic illusion and told the truth. Kai. The knife light suddenly appeared, and a big head flew up. No one saw how Lu Han made the knife. Lu Han turned to look at the other 6 people, and said lightly, "Remember what I said before. You are not sincere, and you have been given a chance, but if you still don't leave, then kill Wush." Call. 2 of the 6 people moved at the same time and wanted to run, and the other 4 also moved. They realized that it was impossible to deceive Hongguang. Kai. The light of the sword continued to flicker, and Lu Han's body only seemed to be shaking, and he was classified as the 6 ninjas who were about to escape. All fell to the ground, their heads and bodies separated. Silence in the square. Lu Han's strength, for this group of ninjas who want to take refuge in Omegakure, already belongs to the category of gods. It's too terrifying. They were silent, bowing their heads and daring not to make any movement. Welcome to the Omegakure village. Lu Han looked at the more than 100 ninjas. No matter what status you were in the past, no matter what you did, let him go in the past. I announce that from today onwards, you are the A member of Omegakure village. I hope you can contribute more to Omegakure village, award meritorious deeds, and sentence the villagers to death. Quote. See the leader. See the leader. More than 100 ninjas all knelt down and greeted in unison. Yeah, Lu Han said lightly. Go back, someone will arrange specific affairs for you. Yes, the crowd took orders. In the middle of the night, a coffin was placed in the middle of the fully enclosed indoor practice field. The lid of the coffin was open. Lu Han stood aside, looking at the corpse inside. The eternal Mangekyo in his left eye was spinning rapidly. Time and space plagiarism, reversal. The corpse is White Fang. Lu Han still wants to resurrect White Fang. Even if he loses 1/10 of his strength, he will do it. But now, because Lu Han is stronger than before, much stronger, White Fang has become relatively weaker because of this. He used the tides of time and space to reverse the time required for White Fang's corpse to be greatly shortened. According to his current estimate, there will be another 3 months. He can restore White Fang's corpse to its pre-death state. In this way, Lu Han can revive White Fang when he activates his resurrection ability. White Fang is very important to him now, not only emotional factor, he also needs White Fang's help. He rules a Megacre village, but he doesn't have much time to manage a Megacre village. He needs decentralization, he needs someone he can trust, for him to take charge of the village of a Megacre. Tsunade is the most suitable, but in order not to hinder Tsunade from returning to Konoha to serve as Hokage, Lu Han will not let Tsunade join a Megacre village. Hatake Tai Shuo is also very capable, but after all, he is not as good as White Fang. Moreover, Hatake Taishuo's strength is also a little worse. Although White Fang has been dead for many years, before his death, White Fang will be stronger than Hatake Taishuo. Chapter 1067 Waiting to see the cold light joke. On a new day, Lu Han came to the boss building early and issued several boss orders in the office. The first one is to announce the whole country of Rain. All small organizations in the land of Rain are required to swear allegiance to a Megacre village, and send messengers to a Megacre village to discuss the transfer of property. 1 month limited time. If you are unwilling to be loyal, you can leave the country with your property or disband the organization on the spot. After 1 month, a Megacre village will send troops to take over the entire country of Rain. Those who resist will be killed without mercy. The second article, in response to the announcement within a Megacre village, a Megacre village will set up a ninja school. A Megacre ninjas can recommend each other, or self-recommendation, to apply to join the ninja school for various positions, and at the same time call on all school-age children in a Megacre village to prepare for school. Article 3. Announcement to the entire mortal world of the Land of Rain, a Megacre village will form a mortal army. The reason why Lu Han wants to use ordinary people to form an army is because he has the idea of building the Daming Mansion, but he will not use the name of the Daming Mansion, but set up a brand new department, which is a branch within the Megacre village. The significance of this department is not only to collect taxes from the mortal world, but mainly for control, and requires the mortal army to control the mortal world. Although ninjas are powerful, they are still very few in number. The ninja world is huge, and most of the people are ordinary people. The Kingdom of Rain looks small on the map, but that's in comparison. It's not that the Kingdom of Rain is small, the 5 great ninja kingdoms are too big. In fact, the area of the Rain country is not small at all. For ordinary people, it would take at least half a month to traverse the entire Rain country. Without such a large territory, the Land of Rain would not be in constant wars. There are so many small forces. Even if he is as strong as Hanzo, he cannot end the war in the Rain country. Therefore, it is very necessary to form a mortal army, so that they can maintain the law and order of the mortal world and become the defenders of the laws of the mortal world. Only in this way can a Megacre village better control the Rain country. Report to the leader. Information about the land of the land. A respectful voice suddenly sounded outside the door. Come in, Lu Han said. Person who came was a Megacre Anbu ninja. After entering the door, he walked quickly to the desk and handed the scroll to Lu Han respectfully. Lu Han took the scroll, opened it and glanced quickly. Not a big deal. But it's also important. Of Iwagakure village. Just the day before yesterday, Tsuchikage, the 4th generation of Iwagakure village, officially took office. This person is Lao Zi. In the original book, this guy left the village of Iwagakure because he disagreed with Onoki, but he was still considered an Iwagakure ninja because he was not a traitor, he just left. Just like Tsunade also left Konoha, but not a betrayal. Original book, Onoki did not die during this period, but in this world, he died, so it is logical for Lao Zi to succeed the fourth-generation Tsuchikage. No one is more suitable than him. Lu Han's announcement of the order caused an uproar in the Land of Rain, and spread throughout the ninja world, causing a strong shock. Cove Light, what is this for? Really want to flex your muscles in a Megakure village? Why did you go early? He has the opportunity to rule Konoha village, but he came to a Megakure village. There is no difference in this one. Because the problem of the Land of Rain is too complicated. This is a war problem that has lasted for decades. Hanzo has been in power for so many years, but it has not been solved. Han Guang wants to solve it within a month. The major forces in the ninja world did not speak out on this matter. They were all watching, or in other words, waiting to see Lu Han's joke. They hoped that Lu Han would put more effort into this matter. Because Lu Han will be supported by this matter, we'll get into super trouble. The big and small forces in the Land of Rain, those rich mine owners, they all have intricate relationships, not only between them, but also inextricably linked with many Megakure ninjas. Han Guang's desire to forcibly rule the entire country of Rain is tantamount to poking a hornet's nest. At this time, the outside world's view on this matter. And inside the country of Rain, it has been completely messed up. Those forces, big and small, all quickly contacted, exchanged opinions, some united, some quarreled, and some were ready to leave the country of Rain with wealth, but chose to take refuge. A Megakure village, very few. Cove Light is strong. But what about strong? Isn't Hanzo strong? Hanzo also had the ability to destroy any small faction by himself, but so what? Can Hanzo kill everyone? If those small forces hide, how many can Hanzo find? After Hanzo is gone, what if those small forces appear again? In fact, for the entire mortal world, as well as those small forces, although Lu Han's deterrent power is higher than that of Hanzo, it is not so high as to make people surrender with just a few words. Especially those small forces that have been passed down for decades, they know how to deal with the threat of a Megakure village. The reason why they have survived the storm for a long time is because they have too strong control over the mundane world. Only control a small area. When two strong enemies come, they hide, and when the enemy leaves, they appear again. From Lu Han's understanding, they are completely underworld organizations in the Land of Rain. It's still the kind of underworld organization with a very strong master who can unite with a Megakure village. This is indeed a terrible thing. Lu Han even remembered his past life because of this. No matter how developed and civilized countries are, there are such organizations, and no matter how hard they fight, they can't be defeated. Even if it is really eradicated, new ones will breed later. And there are those small forces that are strong enough and have a cruel and vicious style, which are almost equivalent to terrorist organizations. It is indeed difficult to rule the entire country of Rain, and it takes a long time to do it, but Lu Han wants to do it in a short time, and has already thought of a special method to solve this problem. To this end, Lu Han also secretly formed a special unit in a Megakure village. Train. This special unit was named Mythical Unit by Lu Han, referred to as the Ministry of God. Somewhere in the country of fire, deep underground, in a huge underground cave. Fire was blazing. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, was silent in the light of the brazier, and before Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, there was a huge pool. Uchiha Madara soaked in the pool, eyes closed, not moving at all. Suddenly, Uchiha Madara opened his eyes and looked around with cloudy eyes. How long? Uchiha Madara asked hoarsely. You slept for another 5 days. Orochimaru's voice came from the darkness in the distance, followed by footsteps. Chapter 1068 _ The key to ruling the Land of Rain. 5 days. Uchiha Madara muttered to herself. Since the decisive battle with Lu Han, Uchiha Madara has been in a state of half-dead, often falling into a deep sleep. Even if he wakes up, each time he wakes up is very short, and he can't even guarantee who is looking after him when he wakes up. Maybe Black Zetsu, maybe Orochimaru. How are you preparing? Uchiha Madara asked hoarsely, her voice weak. It may take a while. Orochimaru said indifferently, the cold light has made some moves recently, I don't want to know. Uchiha Madara interrupted, it doesn't matter, if I can't be reincarnated, everything will be meaningless. You hurry up and prepare. Don't let me down. I hope you don't let me down too. Orochimaru said coldly. Yeah, Uchiha Madara responded with a nasal voice, closed her eyes again, and there was no movement. Orochimaru turned and walked into the darkness, gradually receding. The process of reincarnation is very complicated. Even if Uchiha Madara gets the secret book, he can't complete it independently. Only Orochimaru can help him. Orochimaru is willing to help him. Because Orochimaru needs allies, he has been rejected by the ninja world, and he betrayed his relative, Tsunade. So much so that he has been labeled as untrustworthy. The major forces in the ninja world will not accept him. So, he needs Uchiha Madara as an ally. Moreover, apart from the cold light, only Uchiha Madara knows the entire contents of reincarnation. Uchiha Madara told him little by little, which also ensures that Orochimaru will not secretly harm Uchiha Madara. He must complete the entire process as standard, and help Uchiha Madara complete the reincarnation. Only in this way, Orochimaru will be able to fully understand immortality. 20 days have passed since Luhan released the announcement of the Kingdom of Rain. In the past 20 days, the country of rain can be described as turbulent, big things and small things continue. But really threatened by Luhan, there are only a handful of forces that choose to join a Megakure village, and they are all those small forces that cannot live happily because the surrounding forces are too strong. Everything was within Luhan's expectations. At noon this day, a Megakure village commander building, conference room. Noisy. More than 20 current Megakure senior or important people attended this meeting, and the focus of their debate was only one, how to conquer the entire Rain country. This kind of meeting has been held more than 10 times in the past 20 days. During the initial meeting, no one dared to speak. Except for Hokage Taishuo, everyone else was very afraid of Luhan, but they gradually realized that Luhan was a dictator. But they will also listen to their opinions and allow them to debate and quarrel. As long as they are not Luhan's enemies, Luhan is very peaceful to his own people. Therefore, the current meeting is as chaotic as the vegetable market. Mainly because of the controversy. Boss, I think 2 months is too short. With such a rash move, the probability of success is extremely low, and it will cause immeasurable losses to our Megakure. Lord Hangguang, I think so too. You have already invested nearly 400 million taels into this plan, but the time given is really too short, so radical, the rebound will be unprecedented. Luhan had set a plan before. It took 2 months in total. The first month was chosen by all the forces in the Land of Rain, and the next month, a Megakure village should take action. Within 2 months, the whole Rain must be subdued. Country. Okay, I've made up my mind to conquer the Kingdom of Rain in 2 months. I don't need to change that. Luhan knocked on the table and said, you guys can say something useful. The administration department, I asked you to prepare a set of Rain Kingdom. Have you come up with the national regional management method? Chief. The elderly ninja who was nearly 60 years old stood up and reported respectfully. This person is the current Minister of Administration, named Fujita Shinzo. He was originally an Megakure ninja, with the strength of an elite Jonin. Although his strength is average, he has great administrative skills, so Luhan promoted him. The meeting ended in controversy. In the corridor, Hokage Taishuo followed Luhan to the office. Teacher, why don't you talk about the Shinwa army? I don't think there would be such a big controversy if you did. One is for confidentiality, Luhan explained in a low voice. Although they are loyal to a Megakure, they are not strict with their mouths. If the news spreads, it will be troublesome. Besides, they won't believe it, they don't understand. How terrible is the power of the masses. Teacher, there have been a lot of bad rumors about you recently in the Land of Rain, saying that you are a butcher and want to start a war. Don't worry about it, this situation will naturally change when the mythical troops go out. By the way, how many people have the Peace Corps recruited? Lu Han asked again. So-called Peace Force is the mortal force formed by a megacorps. There are more than 50,000 people. Hataki Tai Shuo paused for a while, and then said, however, there are too many people, but there are many people, there are too many poor people in the country of rain. They come joining the Peace Corps as mostly to have food and not be oppressed, and many of them are old. If you're older, you need this kind of person. It's okay, as long as you can trust them, you can recruit them all. When the two came to the office, Lu Han asked again, how is the training of the Xinhua army? It's almost there. Hataki Tai Shuo said this, and he admired Lu Han a little. Teacher, you are really amazing. Now those people in the Xinhua army have changed their minds, and their temperament has become a lot more peaceful. Hataki Tai Shuo has read the training manual written by Lu Han. It is aimed at the mythical troops. There is no combat training. It is completely language, ideological education, or in other words, brainwashing. Well, if you think it's okay, let the Xinhua army prepare to start training the peace army. Lu Han said, paused again, turned his head to look at Hataki Tai Shuo. You go and arrange, I will review the peace army immediately. Quote. Yes. Hataki Tai Shuo led the way and left. Not long after. A few kilometers west of the village of Omegakure, in a makeshift camp, on the school grounds. Tens of thousands gathered, policed by hundreds of Omegakure ninjas, and the scene was silent. Lu Han appeared on a nearby tree and glanced at these people. Say it's a review. In fact, Lu Han didn't intend to show up. The purpose of his coming was to clean up unstable factors. It's the Yuhi name. Because this group of people is the key for Lu Han to rule the country of rain. So there must be no problem. Chapter 1069 Yuhi name must die. Kill 1,000 people. Lu Han wrote a training manual and asked his cronies to train the Xinhua troops, and after the Xinhua troops completed the training, they had to train the peace troops. And before the mythical troops start training the peace troops, Lu Han must review the peace troops. Remove the unstable factor. Yuhi name must die. A few kilometers to the west of Omegakure village, on the huge school field, more than 50,000 ordinary people gathered in the school field. Wearing a uniform dress is still organized and disciplined. Hundreds of ninjas lined the scene, enough to maintain law and order. Lu Han stood on the tree, hiding in the dark, watching from afar. Glance, there are really many Yuhi names. After all, the base is too large, with a total of 50,000 people. If this number of people is not standing at a high place, it is impossible to see the end at a glance. On the north side of the school grounds, there is a huge high platform. Call. A flash, Hataki Tai Shuo appeared out of thin air. As one of the top powerhouses in the ninja world today, although Hataki Tai Shuo wears a mask, his signature Kurigakure blade is well known, especially in the land of rain, where Han Guang's direct disciple is the only one who inherits the Han Guang Dao. The former captain of Konoha Anbu, Wu Feng, is known to everyone. First of all, I must state that since you are standing here, you have no way out. You must be loyal to the country of rain, to the village of Omegakure, and to our leader Han Guang. If there are betrayers, once they are discovered, executed on the spot. But, I can give you a chance now. If any of you can't do the loyalty I just said, you can quit now, you can go. Hataki Tai Shuo's voice was cold and high-pitched, and it spread throughout the school grounds. At the same time, Lu Han stood on the tree, holding a small notebook, and began to write some numbers, such as which square, which column, which row. The writing was very fast, and these people were all Yuhi names. Needless to say, these ordinary people were also identified as Yuhi, and they came to Omegakure village with misfortune. Naturally, they were sent there. There are too many forces in the land of rain. In Lu Han's view, they are a group of underworld groups. Lu Han has given them an ultimatum, either obey or die. They refuse to obey or die. They must send someone to inquire about the situation. Ninjas, they basically don't dare to send it. Because we all know that Lu Han has a very strong ability to see people and can distinguish between enemy and friend. So, a lot of ordinary people came. They are all spies. Read with me, loyal to the country, loyal to Omegakure, loyal to the cold light. Loyal to the country, loyal to Omegakure, loyal to the cold light. The spies must die. The spies must die. Be louder, the spies must die. The spies must die. Hatake Taishuo has already started to lead them to chant slogans, and 50,000 people were led to shout together. It was